Can you imagine if you got sleep paralysis in this room?
Oh my God, why would you fucking say that right before we're about to sleep in
And like
here?
you lifted your head up and you saw a face in the window.
Dude, why would you say that? You
and
know
then
one of my great fears is a face.
just shows up in the mirror.
That sounds like literally a nightmare. And you know one of my big fears is a face staring at me through a window.
Yeah. These poor people at this funeral home are just trying to make a nice little occasion for this brutally murdered man. And they have just this cartoonish cast of characters calling them up to deliver these grisly, grim messages. If I'm working at that home, I'm getting fed up.
You want to come do the job? You want to do my job? How about I be you and you be me?
Show up! Why don't you bury them, asshole? Stop just calling me, I'm busy.
It's fucking annoying.
You know how hard it is to reconstruct this man's skull?
One of the most prominent figures in the asylum is the spirit of a man named Roy Krause. Roy is both prominent due to his frequent activity, but also because of his massive size, as Roy Krause was almost 7.5 feet tall.
Whoa!
It's pretty big. I don't have to do the low-hanging fruit joke here, so I'm not going to.
No,
but
you couldn't reach it if you tried.
That's good. Is there anybody in here with me right now?
What's Ryan doing in there? Who the hell knows? He's probably gonna take out his little spirit box.
I'm gonna fire up the spirit box now. I'm shaking because I'm so scared.
He's probably gonna say something that doesn't sound like any words any human's ever spoken.
Oh shit.
And he'll probably respond to it like he's sitting across the table from a friend playing Scrabble.
You say do it or Ryan? I feel like I'm gonna piss myself.
I can't imagine how scared he'll be.
Close one of those cabinets if there's somebody in here.
Upon investigation, the police found that Mumphrey led a blackmailing gang in New Orleans that preyed on Italians, and almost all of the Axeman's victims were Italians.
These guys are racist?
Most of them were Italian grocers.
Whoa, fuck this guy.
This is what made you turn?
If there's already the basis that he's gonna be killing, I do not approve of that, but if he's gonna do it, then at least do it randomly.
I think just, how about don't kill people?
Look, Ryan, what are we here for? I thought we were here to get into the mind of a serial killer.
I know, I'm just saying, what if they all just happen to be Italian grocers?
Oh, that's rich. It all just happened to be, yeah, that'll hold up in court.
The resulting low-speed police chase of OJ on the freeways of Southern California in his white Ford Bronco is a lasting memory for anybody familiar with the case.
Do you remember that?
I actually don't. I think I was not too on top of the news cycle then, because I was watching Power Rangers or something, but I was not...
Yeah, that's true. Maybe you were just eating cereal or some shit like that.
Yeah.
So I was probably taking a dump or something. I don't know.
Is that all you did at
That's
that
all I
age?
did was take dumps
Oh, well,
in my pants.
it's a weird childhood.
People theorized that when Cooper jumped out, the money possibly fell into the Washougal River before eventually making its way to Tina Bar.
That's basically all they've
I'm
theorized.
just imagining him just jumping out and immediately just losing grip of all the bags. Just a man plummeting to earth with a bunch of money flying around him and like, ah!
In typical Axeman fashion, the axe used belonged to the Cortamiglias.
Did they call it Axeman fever or Axemania?
Or do they call them Axie?
Were they like, everybody in town's got Axeman fever as the terror continues to grip the community?
This just in, throw away your axes.
It's just in, more skulls crushed. Whoa, throw out your axes. When he asked me where the sounds came from, I said upstairs, because that feels like a good final boss for him. I'm sure he'll go in there and hear a ton of things.
First floor. Look, the pebbles are still in a smiley face. Walking to the end of the first hallway. No, I'm not. Fuck that.
If he makes the full 10 minutes, I'm gonna be very proud of him.
What in the fuck am I doing? What am I doing here? All of the hair on my arm is standing up. I'm standing in the middle of the old city jail by myself. I'm the only person in this building. What kind of idiot would do this? Me. I realized me. I'm the fool. Making some nonsense noises, baby. Here we go. Yeah! 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 Da, 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 da.
An hour or two ago,
Now I'm gonna run into the warden's room. Yeah! Ah! This fucking sucks! I hate it! I fucking hate this!
That is quite a reaction. I think we're making some headway.
You think you're crazy? You haven't seen crazy yet! On the 3rd floor, marching down the hallway! Where are you? I'll give it to you. This is the scariest building I've ever been in my entire life. I think I'm cracked. My brain is cracked.
Keep in mind, an hour ago, he was drumming his belly button. I don't think he's going to be the same after tonight.
We're just here to talk to you, to figure out what you felt about this house when you were living in it.
How funny is it that you were trying to talk to dead folks in here, and now
It's kind of ironic, right? Yeah.
we're trying to talk to you?
I was also gonna say, what if he doesn't know he's dead? He's conducting a seance, and
he thinks we're ghosts?
And he thinks we're the ghosts.
Classic Sixth Sense scenario.
Or
the others.
Or the others, spoiler alert.
Or that one Goosebumps book, The Ghost Next Door.
Yeah, that's a good book too.
Anyway, if you're hearing us right now, we're not the ghosts, you're the ghost. Unless...
You know, I guess I did get into that car accident a while ago, and it was a pretty close call. It is possible that I'm dead right now.
One time, I cut up an avocado, and there was a lot of meat left on the pit. And I put the avocado pit in my mouth.
The entire pit? You put the...
Yeah, and I started to just kind of get the meat off of it. And at that moment, I was like, if I sneezed right now, this thing would lodge into my throat. And ever since then, I've kind of been terrified of avocados. But the other thing is, I always thought, what if I did die then?
Fuck, dude.
I mean, we tweet all the time, so.
That's true, yeah, people... This would be a pretty elaborate shared delusion. I'm not gonna do the spirit box.
Do whatever you gotta do. Remember, you're a ghost hunter, so just do your fucking job.
Hey, I may just sit on these stairs. I'm not even kidding.
No, go up. If you don't go up, it's a failure.
That's fine.
And you have failed to do your job.
That's fine, I could
You gotta
live
go
with
all
that.
the way up.
If someone tells me I'm not a good ghost hunter, I'll be like,
You
yeah,
gotta
that's-
go all the way up. Say the words, I gotta go all the way up.
No, I'm not gonna
Say
them.
it.
I'm not gonna say them because I may not go all the way up. I can't tell you what I'm gonna do when that door shuts.
You're gonna go all the way up.
I'm gonna shit myself.
That's fine, as long as you go all the way up.
The day of the murders, the housemaid Maggie saw Lizzie wearing an unstained blue dress. Lizzie could perhaps have committed the murder and then changed while Maggie was reportedly sleeping, but the time frame for that would have been extremely slim, and dresses in that time period were a bit of a process to take on and off, so this seems unlikely.
She could have gotten a dress on, that's not that hard.
Apparently it was pretty hard. I'd like to see you put on a dress from that time period. That came out weird. I could have worded that better. I would not like to see you in a dress. I would like you to try. You know what? You get what I'm saying.
Move along.
Okay.
Two other ghosts that haunt the house are Thomas and Anna Whaley themselves. Many report seeing Thomas Whaley on the upper landing, where one person claimed he wore a frock coat and pantaloons. Some have reported that he blows tobacco smoke in visitors' faces.
Now that's just rude.
I know, it's kind of just a dick thing to do.
Could you imagine seeing a ghost? Oh my goodness, look at this strange apparition. And he just comes up to you and he's like, you're like, oh, Jesus, man.
Vulture Mine is also where the notorious Jacob Waltz, or as he's come to be known, the Lost Dutchman.
Oh, he sure does sound lost. Go on.
Quote, there are too many things in this case that are not consistent with white shark behavior, end quote.
He's the Richard Dreyfuss of this Jaws story.
Exactly.
This would be like if in Jaws there was a guy going around town just murdering people and then yelling, shark!
And then just tossing him in the ocean.
Yeah.
In comes Richard Dreyfuss with
Yeah,
science.
he's like, this is bullshit!
Whatever the reason is, the girl's existence has never been officially confirmed.
Okay. Wait, the dead girl was
the dead girl was not confirmed.
Well, what happened to her body?
I don't know. This is a long time ago.
What did he do with it?
I don't know. We're in the canals of Mexico. This is like, I don't know how things work. Is that how things
It was
work?
the 1950s.
Probably spiders hate her.
Then again, you would also think that spirits that are hanging out in the chapel are kind of mocking things, you know, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, but Jesus, is Jesus here?
I have no idea.
At this moment, our audio recorder picks up a voice saying, I am not.
Is Jesus here?
I have no idea. What?
Well, clearly he is.
I guess.
Is Jesus being sneaky?
Yeah, because he says I. He's answering.
I'm not here. Shh. I'm not here.
It's either that or it's the devil. I don't know.
But then Jesus is the devil? Is that your stance?
Well, I'm saying it's the devil pretending to be Jesus. He's playing like a little game.
But then he would say, I am here. It's me, Jesus.
That's true. I guess that doesn't really. You know what it is? I just am nerved. I'm unnerved by something answering a question about Jesus. That's a ghost hanging out in a chapel for some reason, which seems like a weird place for someone to spend if they're trapped for eternity.
I don't know. I chalk it up to the usuals.
I think it's pretty clear.
Chalk it up to the usuals. That's going to just be a new go-to answer.
Okay, well, I think it's a pretty clear voice, and it answered your question in a little tricky way, but intelligently.
I am not.
However, the most important clause is a specific threat that would terrify the entire New Orleans community. Quote, now, to be exact, at 12:15 o'clock earthly time, on next Tuesday night, I'm going to pass over New Orleans. In my infinite mercy, I'm going to make a little proposition to the people. Here it is. I am very fond of jazz music, and I swear by all the devils in the nether regions that every person shall be spared in whose house a jazz band is in full swing at the time I have just mentioned. If everyone has a jazz band going, well then, so much the better for the people. One thing is certain, and that is some of those persons who do not jazz it on Tuesday night, if there be any, will get the axe.
Jazz it! Quote. You better jazz it!
He turned jazz into
Honey,
a verb.
we gotta jazz it.
He turned jazz into a verb.
I'm not gonna throw out this axe, so we better jazz it. He's a bit like Santa Claus.
Okay, I'd like
First
to hear
of all, he
how-
says he's gonna pass over New Orleans. That's a bit magical. Just imagine him flying through the skies with his big axe, riding a crocodile or an alligator, whatever they got.
Or
to
a demon.
Traveling on demon's wings, and just looking down at all the little houses, listening for jazz. It's like the good and the bad.
So he's like
list.
the Grinch trying to listen to the Whoville people sing.
Exactly right.
I still don't understand how he's Santa Claus. Santa Claus never bashed anyone's head in with a big sack of toys.
That's true. But he does give him coal.
What?
If you want to eat my heart, turn that light on. I think this demon's a wimp.
He's lost his mind.
You want to lay on the pentagram?
Here we go.
You're out of your mind.
Rock and roll, buckaroo. If you want to eat my heart, turn that light on. If you want to eat Ryan's heart,
Don't
turn that
stop
light
putting
on.
me in your shit.
Our old pal, Ryan Bergara.
Stop.
We're a package deal. Oh, the light's on, Ryan. Look at the lights. Demon, we got him. Jesus Christ.
Turn it off for us, please. For Ryan's sake.
You don't feel even a little creeped out.
No.
And of course, according to the current owner of this mine, somebody got pulled into this machine and grinded up. I don't really know what this machine does.
It's a people grinder.
It's not a people grinder. I'm sure.
It's a people grinder.
I'm sure it was used to grind to conduct energy, not to make people into little beef patties. After the plane had taken off, a little after 3 p.m., Cooper handed the stewardess a note. At first, she just put it in her pocket without looking at it. But then Cooper said, quote, "Miss, you better look at that note. I have a bomb," end quote. What's so funny about that? He has a bomb.
I think it's funny that he passed her a note to be discreet about it. Like, hey, keep this on the down low. And then she was just like, thanks, and walked away. And he was like, hey, you might want to read that because I've got a bomb. Oh, God damn it. Yeah, I got a bomb, everybody. A little beside the point, but very impressive on the great white shark's behalf that they can do such a clean bite.
Well, it's a powerful animal.
Yeah, hell yeah, it is.
I mean, it's not a bear, but it's a
It could
powerful
certainly kill a bear, hands
It
down, if
definitely
you dropped
could-
a bear in the
no,
ocean.
If you,
yeah.
No, if a bear.
No,
We've been over
no.
this before. The bear is the most deadly animal of all time.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
If you put a bear in any playing field in the world, water.
Nope, hippopotamus.
Land, no, fuck you, dude.
Hippopotamus
a bear's the
would
most,
kill
you know
a bear
what?
in a
We're getting
heartbeat.
this is a different episode.
Fuck you.
Workers noted that there was a mass rolling around inside the poet's skull. At the time, news articles reported it was Poe's brain, quote, dried and hardened in the skull, end quote, claiming, quote, the cerebral mass evidenced no sign of disintegration or decay, though, of course, it is somewhat diminished, end quote.
Is that what happens to the brain?
I have no idea.
That's gnarly, man.
I do not think the brain hardens into a funny little ball. I don't think that's what happens.
Wouldn't it be funny if a funny little mouse came out?
I guess. However, the final and perhaps most feared ghost of all is the ghost of Yankee Jim.
You better watch out, or Yankee Jim will give you some taffy. Some folks say they hear him playing a jolly little kazoo tune in the middle of the night. That's not a ghost, that's not a spooky name.
Roland Owen will not be buried in a pauper's grave. Arrangements have been made for his funeral. End quote.
I'm gonna start using it.
A pauper's grave?
Well, just a paupers as sort of a descriptor. Like if I get a subpar salad,
Oh, this is a pauper salad.
I will not eat this pauper salad.
Or if you get like a hotel room that just has a view of the parking lot or the freeway, I'm not gonna sit in this pauper's hotel room.
Front desk, yes. I will not accept this pauper's view.
This is Ricky Goldsworth. You know what the deal is. Do you want me to come down there again? Didn't think so.
Man, that guy's scary.
Yeah, he's really scary. So, once again, he's escalating.
Yeah. One of the saddest parts of this to me is that so many of these bodies were unidentified.
Yeah.
Because it's just, I'm always of the opinion that once I'm dead, you can do anything you want with my body. Throw it out in the street, let the dogs eat it. But I at least want people to look at my body and go, yeah, that's Shane, that was Shane, who's being eaten right now.
That's Shane in that basset hound's mouth.
Give him a send-off, whatever, say your kind words about him.
That'd be a happy dog. That's a big-ass bone.
I'll tell you what, on my 99th birthday, I'd be walking into the U.S. Marshal's office and just being like, fuck you
Your
guys.
grandson wheels you in a wheelchair and you're just sunglasses on, just...
Fuck you, coppers.
It's me. I was drinking Caprinas for the last 30 years. Suck it, coppers.
And then you just die in your wheelchair.
Ah!
There's the original right here.
What? Where?
The one that looks... Oh, the fuck? What the fuck was that? Holy shit balls. I was just about to put the offering on the original doll and then...
Holy shit, look at the spider coming out of it.
Oh my god.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, these are fucking huge. Let's go.
This is also his favorite doll right here.
Okay, I don't care what his favorite. Fuck that. Let's go.
There's cats right there. Oh, fuck me. There are spiders everywhere. Look at the size of that thing. I'm gonna go under.
Okay. We've had our fun.
Either way, Jackson and Walling were hung from the same scaffold at the same time, claiming innocence until the end, despite the piles of evidence against them. Legend says that Alonzo Walling threatened that he would come back and haunt the area after he died. Some believe he may have kept his word.
That's the weirdest thing to do. Before you die, just be like, I'm gonna haunt you.
It means nothing to you at the time, but
Yeah.
if it gets, other people all like crazy, then why not?
Yeah. I'm gonna make creaks.
No, not that specific. You're getting too specific now.
Oh, you gotta be.
You need to get more general.
Because then
with your
every time
threats.
they hear a creak, they'll think, that's Shane. I shouldn't have killed him. Anytime you get uneasy, that's me.
Inside the car, they found, in what I imagine was unintentional humor, makeup adhesive, a fake mustache and goatee, O'Che's passport, and a gun.
Just try to picture one of the most famous people in the world trying to sneak into TSA with a glued-on mustache and thinking that it's gonna work out. I can't believe he was even considering it.
It's a little juvenile.
The Axeman eerily never used his own tools. He only used what he could find on hand in the victims' households, usually an axe, which he typically left behind at the scene of the crime.
Everybody had an axe back in the day, huh?
Yeah, my biggest takeaway from this case is why not just throw your axe away? Yeah, it's literally the first thing I would do. But these people were like, leave the axe in
Hope
the
he doesn't
shed.
take my axe. I've got my porch axe, my shed axe, my kitchen axe.
Another trio of ghosts who haunt this lighthouse treat the entire grounds as their own playground. The construction of the new lighthouse took place from 1871 to 1874 and was overseen by a man named Hezekiah H. Pitty on July 10, 1873. It's reported that Pitty's children, along with one unnamed girl believed to be a worker's daughter, decided to play in the supply cart that ran from the construction site high on the coastline down to the water below when tragedy struck. The supply cart hit a gate and flipped the children into the water, pinning them under the cart. A worker came to their aid, but it was too late. Two of Pitty's children, Eliza and Mary, as well as the unnamed little girl, drowned before they could be saved.
Can't be horsing around.
You know, I respect that. I respect that.
You know, you can horse around in certain areas, but a construction site by the ocean?
Moving forward, in 1835, the castle's use as a prison ceased, and in 1860, the castle became a museum. It is still a museum today.
They were on top of it. They need a museum for the museum. 100 years from now, they're gonna have museums about all the museums that we saw in our lifetime.
Yeah, they may even be like 100 years before now. 2 royal jackasses sat in this spot and carelessly talked about history.
You think they're gonna have like wax figures of us?
Yeah, one of them will have a 8-foot round head.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
And one of them will be this chair, but it'll be giant, and it'll say, if you sit in this chair, you'll feel the same, like you're the same size as Ryan Bergara, the littlest man of the 21st century.
Well, with the wax figure, they could just take this normal chair and put a little like doll here.
Yeah.
Some believe there are bodies littered around the area.
I mean, this is a hell of a tree.
I mean, it definitely has character. It looks like a Tim Burton tree.
This looks like one of those Wizard of Oz trees that comes to life and fucks you up.
By the way, this foundation. Was that a bat or was that a bird?
We're in bat country, buddy.
Fucking, I don't want them flying towards my face all the time. Jesus. This is Wickenburg's house right here. The man himself, the guy who pretty much died in the streets. Why don't we just reach out right here, in between the hanging tree and Wickenburg's house? Kill 2 birds with one stone.
I do like that his home was right by the tree. He was like, well, we'll hang these men right outside my bedroom window.
He probably likes sipping on a little cup of tea, watching them kick to their death. And that's what you get, stealing from our minds.
Jesus. Maybe this guy did deserve to die in the streets.
Yeah.
The possibility that Burroughs had used an invisibility cloak given to him by the devil was suggested by the Chief Justice.
Oh my Jesus Christ. This is so upsetting.
It's upsetting, but it's kind of funny when you think about it. Like,
Oh my God. If you're an educated man from Harvard who is like, well, surely the Chief Justice will have something reasonable to say about this. Chief Justice, what have you to say?
I seen him use an invisibility cloak. I know he gave it to him, the devil.
2 days later, on August 18th, 1938, at 12:40 a.m., Director Ness and a squadron of 35 detectives and police officers raided Kingsbury Run's Hobo Jungle. They rounded up 63 men and scoured the shacks for any sign of the killer. Most noteworthy, in a move that has been criticized, Ness then ordered the shacks to be burnt down. The people displaced were then charged with being homeless, which they pled guilty for. Ness's involvement in this episode of the investigation has been referred to as cruel and draconian.
Okay.
this, I mean, he pretty much just said, I can't find what's going on in this part of town. Let's burn it all down.
It's literally like a scorched earth.
He literally went scorched earth.
Yeah.
According to James Bedell, the preeminent expert on this case, Ness's raid was intended to protect the transients in a bizarre and backwards way. Ness wanted to eliminate the pool of potential victims, thinking that the killer targeted transients, which, to be fair, was true. He also wanted the transients' fingerprints in the event that they were later killed.
It feels like maybe the fingerprint excuse is exactly that. It's just an excuse when people are like, hey, why are you terrorizing an entire population of people and setting their homes on fire? And suddenly he needed to come up with a reason.
Oh, he's coming to his senses.
Yeah, like, fingerprint, like it just seems like he's just sort of backpedaling there.
He was just like, fingerprints.
He didn't just look fingerprint. He didn't.
I need fingerprints, that's
Yeah,
what it
sure.
was.
During the second half of the flight, Cooper put on a pair of dark wraparound sunglasses with dark rims that would later become part of the sketch that would become famous for anybody familiar with the case.
Yeah, I'm just imagining like a camera just pushing in on him as he's like,
If we were in today's age, this guy would definitely have headphones in, playing Spotify playlists of epic soundtracks.
he'd have one of those shitty hoverboards.
Not an actual hoverboard, but
Yeah,
the
he'd
shit
be
that-
like, or I'll do the job. And he'd take out his wheels, put them down, start moving up and down the aisle. Knapsack, or I'll do the job.
It is estimated that 500 to 600 rooms were built, but due to her constant remodeling, only 161 rooms remain.
one of which was newly discovered in October 2016.
You think the ghost just checked in every like 3 to 5 years?
Check your time
we
card.
should see if she's still building that, otherwise we gotta kill her.
I guess if she's spent her whole life being afraid of water and she can't swim,
Probably put on a life vest
well,
or
why
something.
would she even attempt to
Or
do
even
this?
attempt. In her nightgown, no less. In
Yeah.
her nightgown, no less.
That's why it's strange. I guess when I'm drunk,
I've done some stupid things.
I guess I would attempt to do things that I'm scared of, but going back to my fear of bears, I would never go, hey, let me go pet this bear.
No, I wouldn't. One of my greatest fears, I think I've said this before, is that someone will trick me into doing heroin.
Which is the dumbest fear I've ever heard in my life.
It
I
would
can't
be
even
against
ima-
my will.
How many situations could even put you up to that potential danger?
I don't know. All it takes
How many
is
parties are you going to with heroin involved?
none. But
It seems like a lot.
It's not the fear that I'm at a party. It's a fear that someone would come up to me on the street and put heroin in me, and then I'm hooked forever.
What the fuck?
McElroy, at the age of 47, remained in the car, shot dead, getting hit twice. The shot came from roughly behind him, so he would not have seen his shooter. Bullet casings from 2 different guns were found. Notably, none of the witnesses called an ambulance.
Do you think there was one guy who was like, "I'll call"? Oh,
He just got a firm stare. Everyone just turns their head toward him.
what's that noise?
So it's a loud-ass cicada.
Oh, I see him right there. This guy's beautiful.
Yeah, he's just chilling out on a branch.
Yo, this guy's my new fave bro.
Oh yeah, look, these 2 walking sticks are definitely banging it out.
Sticking it to each other.
This is kind of a beautiful moment. We're seeing like a circle of life moment.
Yeah. Is that a ball gag?
I don't know if we got this on camera, but he told me, do not be afraid. I mean, I won't lie, I'm very scared, but
Okay. Do not be afraid.
if anything happens, just do not be afraid. That's all you have to keep repeating. He said it a bunch of times in the Bible.
Jesus said chill.
Jesus said chill, yeah, sure.
Gentlemen have claimed that they feel somebody trying to touch their leg underneath the bar.
I was expecting something else considering the history.
Just the leg, just the leg.
Ryan is afraid of you. I think you should show him that you demand to be respected.
I do respect them.
I never knew this was that easy.
Fucking dick. What do you think happened?
I'm gonna go Occam's razor on this one and just assume that he rocketed into the ground. A little juxtaposition of him being on the plane being like, I'll have a bourbon. And then 2 hours later being like,
How do you arrest a ghost? You can't. You
I
handcuff
guess
them.
you would have to be a ghost cop.
You know what? I rescind what I said earlier. I won't pour tea and full clothes. I'll be a ghost cop.
Yeah, that's actually pretty bad.
Ryan Bergara,
Ghost cop.
Doesn't that sound nice?
That's awesome.
I like that.
Yeah.
While riding the New York subway in 1917, John Galvin, a man claiming to be a detective at Scotland Yard, grabbed a woman and reportedly declared, quote, "I know you, Dorothy Arnold. I've got you at last," end quote. The woman, not Dorothy Arnold, but rather a Mrs. Smith, begged strangers around her to help, but Galvin insisted he was a detective. He marched her into an NYPD precinct where officers let Mrs. Smith go and sent Galvin to Bellevue Hospital for observation.
I know you, Dorothy Arnold. Come with me.
I've got you at last! Another case cracked for Galvin.
Imagine being on the subway, maybe you have your AirPods in and some grown man grabs you by the shoulders, looks you in your eyes and shakes you and goes, I've got you!
Probably happens a lot in New York, I'm guessing.
Probably true, you know, the subway and such, but
It's a wild place.
not only did he grab her, it's not like this was a moment of terror, just a moment.
He marched her-
He marched her to the police station, made her get off the subway, walked with her, I'm assuming, while holding her shoulder still. That's insane.
Imagine the people at the precinct, too. This man shows up and he's like, it's the missing lady! We've got her at last! They're like, ma'am, do you have any ID? She takes it out and they're like, why don't we get this guy somewhere? Quickly. Get his padded.
I've cracked it! Here she is! Dorothy! Give me the money! Now!
Witnesses sleeping aboard a nearby boat, John Payne and his girlfriend Marilyn Wayne, reported hearing shouts at around midnight. However, there was a party going on somewhere nearby, so he figured it was from that and did not respond. Payne claimed to hear a woman yelling, quote, "Help me, someone please help me," end quote, coming from the near stern of the Splendor and potentially from someone in a dinghy. He also believed to hear a man who sounded very drunk respond, quote, "Okay, honey, we'll get you," end quote. But his tone was so mocking, he claims this is why he believed the cries were associated with the party.
Mocking tone, when you say mocking tone, you mean like,
Okay, honey, we'll go get you.
we'll help you, like intimidating, scary, spooky.
Oh, well, you went a little darker with it. Maybe that's what he said. Or maybe he was just joking around like, oh, go get you. Or maybe this didn't happen at all. Maybe this guy didn't hear what he thought he heard.
Does he just like park next to them? Is it like binoculars, like a creep?
A star watcher.
Oh, what's going on
Natalie
there?
Wood's up on that boat.
Oh, she's screaming. Better,
Oh, shit.
better take a note about that. I feel like a mark of true success is when you have detractors. That's a wonderful thing.
Oh, like when you get haters?
Oh, yeah.
That's like the old way to say that.
Yeah. I would love some haters.
Yeah, I'd love some haters too.
Why don't you take a long walk down a short pier?
I like it. No, that's too general
Save.
and too hypothetical. I like when it gets pointed, like, oh, I hate his stupid beady eyes.
Or like your
and
little rooster,
Yeah,
your
look
little
at
rooster
look at his
hair
little
up there.
look at that little surf wave on his head. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna get my little boogie board and surf that in the morning. Here's what Decker had to say about Michelle. There was a total intellectual connection. I felt there was an emotional connection too. At least on my part there was. And we also had a physical connection. I was so bummed when a couple of days went by and she hadn't called. I was about to give up on the idea, end quote. Later, when he found out that Michelle had died in a shark attack, he wrote and eventually published this poem. Quote,
Jesus Christ. Okay.
Did you wait to hear the poem?
Oh,
Wait
and
till
he's
you-
accusing her of oh, she's a real hippie.
Quote, the report said there was a tattoo, a butterfly on her shoulder, which I remembered that night on my couch when I, like the shark, chewed on her lips and took off her shirt. End
What
quote.
the fuck? No. Shame on him.
It's not even a good poem, it's just weird.
No, it's very strange.
This sounds like something a drunk man would say as he's laying on the sidewalk just babbling.
I don't like that one bit.
And like the shark chewed on her lips and took off her shirt.
No, the shark was not doing that, sir. The shark is 10 times less creepier than you.
A bolt with a heavy nut, something used to secure a circus tent, was one of the apparent weapons. There was a circus on the nearby Tulane Avenue that weekend.
Was this the last one?
Yes.
If this guy survived for 2 hours after getting struck 18 times, the Axeman probably wasn't used to that kind of resilience. He probably hit him once and the guy was like, oh boy, what a bump. And he was like, all right, I guess I'll hit you again. And he was like, oh my goodness, that didn't feel much better. He was like, 3, 4, 5.
Quote, I want $200,000 by 5 p.m. in cash, put in a knapsack. I want 2 back parachutes and 2 front parachutes. When we land, I want a fuel truck ready to refuel. No funny stuff, or I'll do the job.
No funny stuff.
I also like how he says, do the job.
I'll do the job.
Like that's his threat, which actually to
That's
me,
badass.
he's not a dime store criminal, let's just say that.
I'm
on board with the coop train.
Me too. I'm a fan of this guy.
You a big coop head?
I'm a coop head. Nobody is building a house like this because they have arthritis.
I'm saying this
That
is
is not a
this is a theory. I'm just stating the
No
theory.
one says, "Oh, my knuckles feel a little funny. I'm going to build a house with 500 rooms."
I hear you, man. I agree with you. I'm just saying this is a theory that people believe, and I'm relaying the theory.
Those people are idiots.
I mean, you know what the doctor says. Nothing's better for arthritis than a 2-story drop to the floor down below, right?
Right? Yeah.
In one moment, Wood was said to have thrown a glass down onto the floor, though Walken later explained the incident saying that it was his fault, because he threw his glass on the floor after making a toast, and Wood had just followed suit.
So fucking Walken is essentially Thor.
Yeah.
I like this drink. Another.
A little over a month later, on June 28, 1918, near the corner of Dorgenois and La Harpe Streets, another attack occurred. A severely injured Louis Bessemer and Anna Lowe were discovered by a baker named John Zanka making morning deliveries.
That's sad for a baker.
They actually thought he did it.
They thought the baker did it?
Well, I mean, like anybody naturally. That's why if I ever found a dead body, I don't know if I'd call it in, man.
You wouldn't call it in?
I'd call it in anonymously. I would not want any part of it because that's the first person they look
But
at.
in today's surveillance state, you would be suspect number one because they'd be like, why'd you call it in anonymously?
Well, then maybe I'll just spend my whole life trying to avoid dead bodies. How about that? Also, this guy didn't know. He was just delivering bread. He opened
He
the
was
door.
probably like, good morning, I've got your beignet. Oh my God.
You've disappointed me greatly today.
We are not impressed by you or your haunting efforts.
Shush.
What? Don't shush me. I've told you this before. You don't shush me on a ghost hunt.
Wait. Shh.
You did it again.
No, I was just saying shh.
You know, we're colleagues here.
Oh yeah. What were you saying?
Did you hear something? You can go fuck yourself.
So we survived our little trolley over here. We're joined by Pepe from Buzzfeed Mexico.
Hola amigos.
Right now we're on the outskirts of Mexico City in the ancient Aztec canals of Xochimilco, heading to our next location, the terrifying Island of the Dolls. This is a mistake. Oh yeah, there's also a thunderstorm about to roll in, so that's fun. But he looks fine. Look at the kid's fine. And now I feel like a big weenie.
You are a big weenie. What if I go up there and you stay down here and we turn our lights off and see if we hear anything?
What if you go fuck yourself? How about that?
Detective Ron Phillips called OJ to inform him that his ex-wife was dead. OJ's first response, quote, "Who killed her?" End quote.
Not good.
Not, how did she die?
Nope.
What happened? Who killed her?
Yeah, that's not the go-to there.
I'm separating from the group.
It's the ideal time to kill him.
Yeah, I mean, if I were gonna die in camera, it would be a pretty noble thing. Future ghost hunters would be like, this is the spot where Ryan Bergara got murked. Oh my God, this keeps stretching.
I don't understand what's wrong with Ryan sometimes.
What was that?
I didn't say anything.
You sure you didn't say anything, Shane?
Now go back and set them off to make sure they work.
I got a better idea. Why don't you go fuck yourself?
Okay.
And I won't do that.
All right. I got a question about my boy Moose.
Yeah.
Is he a little guy?
Oh, because you think usually in the mob it's kind of like...
Yeah. Like a big, tall, lanky guy like me would be short stack or something.
They are a fan of oxymorons.
Yeah, I love people being like, oh, wait till Moose gets here. A big knock at the door. They open the door and a little,
Hey there. What's the problem here?
Mo's in trouble? I mean, hop in the moose mobile. Drive down.
Is it weird back then that you could just pretend to be someone?
You could still do that today.
Nah.
I bet you I could check into a hotel right now and say, my name is Ricky Goldsworth.
But then they're gonna say, oh, do you have a credit card, sir?
And I'll be like, oh yeah, this is my my friend. I'm just putting it's just a deposit,
That's
right?
not
You're
gonna fly.
charge.
They're gonna put handcuffs on you right away. Where'd you grow up, Ricky Goldsworth?
Oh, I grew up down the road.
Where? No, what city?
Oh, New York City.
You grew up in New York
This
City.
is happening in New York now.
What's your mother's name, Ricky Goldsworth?
Lucy Goldsworth.
What's her maiden name?
Lucy Gold.
See, crumbling.
Well, I wouldn't stumble like that. I'd have a prepared response. And
You'd be firing them off?
I'd be firing him off, and I'd be like, what's the fucking holdup? I'm trying to check into a room, and you're giving me a goddamn inquisition? Is this how you treat all your customers?
All right.
Who do you think you are?
That's fair.
Huh?
Okay,
and I
that's
poke
fair.
him in the chest like this. Huh?
At this point, I'm giving you a room. All right? You did it. You win. You win, Ricky.
What was that? Was that you?
Last chance. We're gonna take the treasure if you don't tell us where it is.
So you're threatening to take the treasure if he doesn't tell you where the treasure is?
That's right. Don't poke holes in it.
Okay, I'm just making sure. It just doesn't seem like a very...
I'm just trying to spook him.
Okay.
I'll come back here with some new technology. That thing where they put some dynamite in there, like in Jurassic Park when they...
He's gonna come back with some new technology. That thing that they put the dynamite in like Jurassic Park.
Find the raptor bones. You remember?
You remember that, right? Person who doesn't know what a movie is?
Whatever, man. Fuck you.
Eerily, from her early childhood, Wood's mother was said to have filled her with a fear of dark water, as a fortune teller had once prophesied that she would die of drowning.
Jesus Christ. Did her mother bring her to a fortune teller?
I imagine it was like one of those like fortune tellers you see at like a carnival. And like, oh, would it be funny if you tell my fortune with the little playing cards?
Oh, maybe she'll tell you you're gonna marry a rich man. And she would.
You're gonna drown one day.
Water's gonna fill your lungs.
And I was like, all right, we've had enough of this, thank
Let's
you.
go get funnel cakes.
Oh boy, classic saloon doors. This is the moment I've been waiting for. When I envisioned this shoot, I envisioned myself walking through saloon doors.
Oh.
And here we are. We should say something cowboy-y when we walk in, right?
Oh, yep.
Okay. Oh boy. Oh shit, I really messed it up. There was a step there. I didn't see
Okay.
it. I want to do that again.
That's fine.
Take two. Hello, ghouls. I'm your Huckleberry. It's me, Ryan.
Oh, that looked good. Here I come. Hey, ghouls.
Oh,
Horseshoes!
my. Jesus Christ. That's what your cowboy saying was, horseshoes?
I don't know. Good enough. They use those.
You ain't no Daisy.
No Daisy at all.
You go to the train station and say, 1 ticket, please.
Yeah. What's your name? I don't know. Something different. Good.
Balls. That's the name I came up with.
That's your new idea.
I'm Balls. Give me
Ron-
1 ticket, please.
If Ryan ever goes missing, we know who to look for.
1 ticket to Oregon. I'm Balls. Give me the ticket. Rip it. Here's the cash. Take it. I'm going on the train. Where's my seat?
You sound like a circus clown.
Is that funny to you?
Yeah, it is. Your name is Balls. That's hilarious.
What's your name? I'm going to file a report.
My name's Shane Madej. File a report.
You were very insensitive to my name.
You're gonna put yourself in the public record by calling a report?
Yeah, because my name is already in the public record because that's what I was born as. Balls.
Were you born as that?
I was born as Balls.
It seems like you made up that name when I first
didn't,
asked you.
because I have a birth certificate that says Balls.
Oh, I'd
So
love to
maybe
see
you
it.
should
I'd
wipe-
love to see it.
Oh, I
Can
don't
you
have
whip-
it with me.
Oh, can you go get it?
Why would I
Why don't you go get it?
my birth certificate?
Can I see your
with
ID?
me? Why don't you stop being rude?
How
Have a
about
little
no?
heart. Take a good look inside. Take your eyes. Put them right
I'm gonna
down
need an
there.
ID for this, sir.
Oh, I got it right here. Oh, I
Guess
forgot
what?
it at home.
You're not getting on the train.
I am. Because
He's not getting on the. Don't let him on the train.
Really, I just want to see his eyes for a brief, just the smallest moment. I want to see fear in his eyes. I'd love to cut away to it right now.
Oh, that's a loud one. Okay.
So it very well likely could be him. They just never were able to catch him. He's a greasy one.
They just couldn't find him.
I don't know, it's 1920s. It must be harder to find people.
Yeah, I guess you just go find a tree to sit under somewhere.
Yellow pages?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think you're pretty fucked once he gets past the state border.
Move to a new town, tell him hi there, my name's Ricky Goldsworth.
Ricky Goldsworth.
You know, if you ever get tired of doing this, you can just move to a new town, tell them your name is Ricky Goldsworth, and
Yeah.
you're done. You're set for life.
Yeah, I'd tell them that. I want the top house. I want the top room.
You can't just move into a town.
No. Yeah.
No, so you can't
yeah.
move into a town and take a house.
I don't think you heard me.
What?
I want the best house in your neighborhood. And I want it stocked with food,
Sir,
furnished, and I want servants as well. I want butlers, and you're going to be one of
Sir,
them.
you can't.
You're
I'm not going to
one
be
of them.
I'm the mayor, sir.
No, that's not how this is going down.
Oh, shit.
Your outfit's in my car. I'll expect you at my house later, 8 a.m. Leave the keys under the mat.
Yes, sir, Mr. Goldsworth. Good Goldsworth. What a story. Goldsworth. It's really coming into his own.
You talking to me?
The space officially became the Viper Room in August of 1993, when Johnny Depp reportedly spent $350,000 outbidding Arnold Schwarzenegger to become Fox's co-owner and a majority stakeholder in the company controlling the bar.
Do you imagine Schwarzenegger with that paddle?
100,000. 150,000.
Not this time, Depp.
Put that paddle down now.
There he is.
Put it down. It's my bar.
350,000.
You know?
I'm a pirate.
On August 10th, 1919, Steve Boca was badly injured in his home after he awoke to a man next to his bed with an axe. Boca managed to survive the attack, reportedly staggering to a friend's home, who then called the police. Boca did not regain his memory, likely due to the blows to the head.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah, that usually does it.
Yeah.
I once fell into a pile of bricks when I was a kid.
What?
And I don't remember much of it after that.
What?
Yeah, I was climbing because we were playing hide and seek. I was trying to hide, and I thought I had the best hiding spot. Turns out I was wrong. The branch broke, and I just
This
fell.
explains a lot. You fell into
And
the
after
heart.
that, I could see ghosts.
I don't think it gave you the vision.
It gave me my eyes.
I think it put a hole in your brain.
Our third theory is Edgar Allan Poe was the victim of cooping, a violent form of voter fraud that was extremely common in Baltimore at the time. Cooping was when gangs would kidnap a victim and force him to vote multiple times in a variety of disguises.
Strange.
That's
Strange when crimes were like this.
just walking in there with a little Groucho Marx mustache.
Yeah,
on.
very odd.
Yeah, it's weird. It's a weird time.
Also, it's a crime, and yet these people need to have some sort of trunk full of disguises.
Walking around with a carrot top truck.
Like hardened criminals be like, "We got you now. Put on this feather boa."
Okay, now the pink number. Put that
The pink.
Put that one on.
That one with the spaghetti
Could
straps. I like that.
Could you audition those glasses? I don't know if the frame fits.
On, off, glass.
You know what? Let's go with the other
Funny
one.
little
I
top
was
hat.
I was right the first time. I overthought it.
This was good. This was good character work for us. Let's keep going.
Former resident Roland Johnson described the smell of Penhurst as a doghouse. Quote, "It just smells like feces, rats crawling, roaches crawling all over, feces and pee on the floor, flies coming in the windows," end quote.
If I were a fly, I'd be trying to get out. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean, but flies also like poop.
They do like poop.
So if flies are trying to get in your house, you're probably not doing it right.
Rave Yelp reviews for flies.
On Yelp, 5 stars. Great poop all around the digs. It's a fucking feast in here, boys.
Some of the best poop I've ever had.
Poop for miles.
They just leave it lying around.
Either way.
You usually have to work for it, but at this place, it's like an old country buffet, but full of poop.
Cooper, seated in seat 18C, ordered a bourbon and soda.
He seems like a cool dude.
I don't think he even ordered the bourbon and soda to calm his nerves. I think
No,
he
he's
just
probably
did it
just
'cause
like,
he's a
bourbon
badass.
soda. Now, I'm DB Cooper, I'm a mystery man. Give me a bourbon. It's a big gulp.
This looks like some kind of kiln of some sort. I'm not sure, but
A furnace, maybe.
yeah.
At this moment, our audio recorder picks up what sounds like a loud whisper.
Now, what do you think that is?
Well, I think it's a whisper, but that's also because if you notice, it's going over my voice.
It sure is.
I think it's fair to say it's not either of our voices.
Here's the thing, there's so many different noises going on at once here. And then, what, there's a ghost whisper somewhere in this little moment?
Yeah.
And what does it say? It just goes,
I think
that's the message from the great beyond.
Well, it's-
God said, go back to Earth. You're not done yet. I want you to tell them something. Oh, what do you want me to tell them?
Although, I will say, I can't imagine communicating with spirits produces any kind of receipt.
No, nobody has evidence of that.
Okay, I'm just saying, I call bullshit on
Yeah,
that.
I agree with your calling of bullshit.
Good. I'm glad we agree on something for once.
We've done it.
Okay, we've done it. We've done it. Let's go home now.
What are you? Hey man, calm down.
You piece of shit, Shane.
My mic went out, and then I was looking for you.
He's crouching in here like some kind of cave creature.
And then all I did was I went, I was just coming
so
to
you're
say
just-
hello to you.
You're looking for me while grunting like a zombie. You almost scared me to death. I'm never gonna forgive you for that. Hope you're fucking proud of yourself.
I thought you saw me.
Bullshit! You thought I saw you.
I really didn't think it was gonna work.
One ghost you won't find haunting the St. Augustine Lighthouse is that of Cracker Daniels' sister's cat.
Good. Great. I don't need to hear any more. I love it. This is the best character we've ever had on this show.
In the early 1900s, Cracker Daniels, a keeper's son, dropped his sister's cat off the top of the gallery deck of the lighthouse to test out a parachute he had fashioned. Amazingly, the parachute worked, and the cat was not harmed.
I'll tell you, I bet that cat made it to the ground and then had a heart attack and died. I put our cat in the car and he's like, he doesn't like it.
Maybe it speaks to how you're taking care of your cat.
I don't think cats like to be in cars, so I can't imagine they enjoy being in a parachute.
All prisoners stayed in their own cells and were not to interact with any other inmates. They also had extremely limited contact with prison guards and other personnel. Private outdoor areas were designed so inmates could exercise without interacting.
Were they all wearing little striped?
No, they all didn't look like the Hamburglar. This place was much more sinister.
Think that guy ever got solitary?
Yeah, but I always saw him as like a kind of funny little man.
He's a fucking criminal, Ryan.
Jesus Christ. He's stealing burgers. I don't know.
Yeah, they're not his.
Yeah, I do know when I try to steal your food, you get really upset, so.
Wouldn't you?
No, sharing is caring.
Go fuck yourself. I bet people living on this thing had a blast. You get to get in little planes, fly around. Sure, war, sad. But they got a popcorn machine here, so sure life wasn't too bad. Probably would have been fun to be one of those flyboys though. Up in the clouds, munching on that sweet, sweet cotton candy. God's cotton candy. And ain't it sweet?
Still got 4 minutes.
Let me just ask you straight out, do you believe ghosts are real right now?
No.
Why do you not believe ghosts are real?
I've never seen one.
Okay, I mean, there's a lot of things that you can't see that you are real, I feel like.
What can't I see?
You can't see gravity, that's real.
Yeah, I can drop an apple.
Fuck. I guess you'll just never believe me until
Look,
something happens.
hey, this whole entire trip, I'm ready. Hey, ghosts, tussle my hair.
I would do nothing to invite them to somehow show themselves or taunt them in any way.
Give me a little purple nurple or something. Let's have some fun. Here I am.
The name of their child, Blue Ivy, has been interpreted to stand for Born Living Under Evil, Illuminati's very youngest.
Wow. I can't believe they would name her something with so obvious a secret message in there.
Rumor has it that near the schoolhouse, there is a mass grave of children who died of the plague, feeding the spiritual activity within the house.
So what's the factual basis behind the plague? What plague?
I don't know. There's no records, all right? You know, sometimes...
What plague? What, did a teacher just like open up her mouth and flies came out? And...
I don't know. It says, rumor has it, there's a mass
A lot
grave.
of rumors in this one, huh?
They're trying to figure out why this house is so active, full of school children.
Yeah.
And rumor is there's a mass grave, and that's all I could offer.
So when you read something like that, are you going to be scared tonight to go over there?
Yeah, I'm gonna be scared. I'm scared sitting here. I got scared by rain.
Yeah. Yeah, you did.
And on that note, I'd like to point to a website called IlluminatiOfficial.org. And on that site, there's a page called Join the Illuminati. A very fascinating proposition indeed. So I reached out for an interview, and here's what I got back from their public relations director. By the way, if the Illuminati is a real thing, the fact that they have a PR director, fucking amazing, right? That's super funny to me, that there's someone sitting in a cubicle somewhere going, that's not the right move.
Yeah.
Too many triangles in the last dress.
Roker's staring at the camera again. we gotta make a new Roker. God damn it, that's our fourth Roker.
If someone started bashing people's heads in Los Angeles, it was like, if you don't play Bruno Mars every Tuesday,
play Bruno.
I'm gonna be very angry.
You're not Brunoing on Tuesday night.
If we don't Bruno it.
Me and the devil are big fans of Bruno.
A local dog had followed them, and when it took off barking, Leslie decided to run ahead of her parents and follow.
First off, you got any guesses what that dog was barking at?
I don't know, I don't like dogs. I was running for exercise, and a rotten Dalmatian jumped right up against a fence and started growling for no reason, just because I was passing. I'm a nice man.
Well, they do hate squirrels. Do you think he thought there was a little bushy squirrel tail on your face?
No, it was dark out. I worry about this. If I ever have kids, them running away, then you see parents with their kids on leashes, and you're like, well, that's wrong.
Yeah.
But the more I think about it, I'm like, maybe put your kids on a leash.
Spent that whole time, didn't even answer the question.
What was the dog barking at?
That was the
Anything. Dogs bark at
All right,
anything.
that would have been an
Dogs
acceptable.
bark at mailman. Dogs bark at a bird in a tree. Dogs bark at
Anything
a
would have
rock
been an
that-
acceptable answer. You'd be a horrible contestant on Family Feud.
Understandably, Poe's coffin and corpse were in terrible condition. As workers tried to move the coffin, it fell apart, spilling Poe's remains.
This guy can't catch a break.
This is comical at this point. Like
It's what you get for marrying your 13-year-old cousin.
Jesus, man, you can't say that.
I can't say
You
it.
can't
Oh,
say
I
that.
can't say that.
I don't know if that's fair.
You can't say that.
I don't think it's fair.
How dare you judge him for marrying his 13-year-old
It was
cousin?
historically accepted at the time.
I don't care. I judge thee.
I can say that without condoning it.
I judge.
Let's examine one last bit of dark history. On January 31st, 1895, 20-year-old Pearl Bryan was brutally murdered by her boyfriend Scott Jackson and his friend Alonzo Walling. Pearl had been 5 months pregnant at the time of her death. Jackson and Walling were both dental students at the time, and legend has it that they felt their medical knowledge was sufficient enough to perform an abortion. If that was the case, then obviously things went horribly wrong, and they eventually decapitated Pearl in an attempt to conceal the body's identity.
What? What were they trying to do? How do you go that wrong?
No one's like fooling around with the tools down by like the pelvic area and then like slips, oh shit, there goes my scalpel, oh, chopped her head off. That's not how it works.
I accidentally lopped it. A little too much off the top on this one. I'm gonna be a little leery next time I go into the dentist and they put me under.
My dad's a dentist.
What?
Yeah.
Has he ever cut anybody's head off?
Not that I know of. I mean, I'm 99.9% sure he's never cut anyone's head off in his time as a dentist.
That's concerning that there's that tiny margin of error.
That implies that maybe he may have before he was a dentist. I don't know about that time.
Are you ever eating?
I've only known him as the dentist.
Have you ever eaten dinner with him and he just kind of stares at the wall for a second and you wonder like...
And there's like a slight glint on the knife.
Yeah.
And then like just...
Is he thinking about that time you accidentally cut someone's head off?
Oh, this is making me so sad.
I'm not going to gloat here because just at a certain point I feel bad for you. But what happened to the thing where you talk to them like you're one of their pals in the era?
Well, like a cowboy accent like this.
Howdy, I'm just here to steal your gold.
You can do me a favor. Take that gold right down the table.
Didn't take you for a coward.
I guess that's all you are.
I stole your gold and your wife.
I'm gonna sit in one of these little tiny chairs that make me look like you. Gonna give you some silence right now. So there you have it. I believe we just caught a disembodied cough in which the cough belongs to one William Harn.
Oh! Sounds like someone getting kicked in the nuts.
Yes, someone get it. It's pretty definitive, I feel like.
Yeah, it could be a ghost coffin.
I mean, that's the sound that I imagine people hear in that room.
I'll say this though, you know, Florida is a very loud place. A lot of noises out there. A lot of noises. But the other thing you have to consider is that it is possible that someone could make some sort of noise or movement that, if it's a quiet noise, is amplified by a microphone and sounds from a distance like a louder noise. You see what I'm saying here?
Maybe. I also don't...
Are you doing that thing? Are you doing that thing where when I talk you go...
Maybe. I just think a cough is a far cry from... Ooh, look at my squeaky little shoe moving. I think I'm being quiet in the distance, but maybe I'm not. I'm surprised you didn't ask
Hats off to you.
Thank you. Did you bring the hat just for that?
Just for that.
Just for that? Well, it came in handy.
A man by the name of Sidney Story created legislation that confined the city's sinful hobbies to a 16-block region, making prostitution and gambling legal within the confines of that area. Ironically, this 16-block precinct would be named after Sidney Story and was dubbed Storyville, a fact I'm sure he was far from pleased with.
What, he didn't like drinking or
He didn't like
debauchery?
sinful activities. He didn't like debauchery.
Well, he can go to hell.
He wouldn't have liked us on Bourbon Street the other day.
Oof, I don't even want to talk about that evening.
I stole them off a woman who died on the Titanic!
Catch it in your head! That's well covered ground.
We can
Yeah,
never
you're
go
right.
back there.
Yeah, we could never go back.
The bellboy Randolph Probst helped Owen to his room, where he reported that Owen seemed to have only packed a brush, comb, and toothpaste. The maid, Mary Soapdick.
What's her name?
Oh God, I know what she's a maid, her name is Soap Dick.
I'm trying to move.
What a really funny big laugh you got out of that. Look how happy you are. Oh man.
Soap
what a
Dick.
gem of comedy we've mined here today. So right now we are in the master bedroom. This is where Jonathan and his wife Elizabeth would have slept.
If he could sleep at night.
He slept like a baby, to be honest. In his mind, he was doing the right thing.
Doing the Lord's work.
He was doing the Lord's work, exactly. I know you're not big on energy, but I mean, like, you kind of feel that there's.
You're nervous right now?
I don't feel amazing, let's just say that.
Right.
I mean, just considering all the things that happened. But you don't feel like a little strange that like one of the most notorious figures in the Salem witch trials slept right there?
It's neat. It's like being in Lincoln's bedroom.
You just compared Jonathan Corwin to Abraham Lincoln?
I mean, they both lived a long time ago.
That's literally the only two things they have in common.
I don't know why people think darkness is actually scary, because, like, I can't see anything. It was scarier when the lights were on, because I could see, you know, filth, things falling apart. Let's boogie, folks. Little guy needs a win. Ghost, that'd be great. If you got a mummy or a vampire, also good. I think he'd also count that as sort of proof of the supernatural. Please, haunt me. I'm begging you to haunt me. Scare the shit out of me. Do something. How many times do I have to plead with air, with nothing? I'm speaking to no one right now. I'm doing it again. But that's fine, because, you know, that's the show. And I'm happy to entertain the idea that maybe ghosts are real, because as I said, no one wants to find one more than me. If you don't pop out, then I've wasted several years of my life. I mean, I went to college, you know, and my major was not ghost hunting. I think that shows.
I would say normally when I do these, I am furious by how cavalier Shane is inside there. But right now, I'm gonna just say I'm impressed. If he's having a good time in there right now, there's something truly wrong with his brain.
Well, now this is a beautiful, gorgeous room with wonderful acoustics.
I mean, look at this shit. Who in their right mind would be stoked to be in there by themselves? You know how much of a psychopath you have to be to enjoy that?
Oh, my ghouls, won't you tug on my shirt?
Oh, God.
I would actually recommend you don't waste your ghost energy on me. Just gonna level with you. You're gonna wanna save it for the other guy. He's gonna come in here right after me. And whatever you do, it's gonna be a laugh riot. He makes very funny faces. He's gonna, not a guarantee, but if you do something, depending on the severity of your actions, he may poop himself. If you do it to me, I'll probably blame it on the wind or say it was an owl dropping a nut somewhere. Oh, I hear someone down there. Guess that means we're done here, ghouls. It's been a real jolly time with you.
Pushing forward to more recent history of the incident, it was the weekend just after Thanksgiving of 1981. Wood had been working on the science fiction film Brainstorm with Christopher Walken at the time, and he was invited to join her and Wagner on their yacht named the Splendor that weekend. According to the captain of the boat, Dennis Davern, who had worked with the couple for years and considered himself a family friend, Wood had become infatuated with Walken during filming, and Wagner had even flown out to where they were filming to make sure he wasn't going to, quote, make a fool of himself over this, end quote.
This is rough.
To be fair, can you blame her?
I'm actually a little curious about that. I have a hard time imagining someone going gaga over Walken.
You go gaga over Walken.
I go gaga.
You go gaga.
You know, he's probably magnetic. I bet when you get in a room with him, he commands the space.
Yeah, no one's like, oh, Chris Walken's here. Everyone's like, you see who just fucking walked in? Chris Walken.
What a Walken.
Boys, the party's here.
I brought some cocktail weenies.
The mine was so lucrative that an accompanying mining settlement called Vulture City was built in 1866 to meet the needs of the many new miners, with a population of as many as 5,000 residents.
That's a lot for back then. I know that seems like a small number.
Here it is, yeah.
But for here, that's overflowing.
A boom town.
Just
Can you
stood in the
imagine
street.
just being in a town full of people who just do what you do?
That just love gold.
Yeah.
They're there for greed, essentially. This was a town
What are you
running.
here for? I love gold. I love gold too. I love gold as well.
Yeah,
That's everyone.
That's everyone in the town.
There's nothing here.
Yeah, I told you.
I did get spider webs in my hair.
You did. Look at you. You look like Dr. Henry Jones.
Hey, another room that looks just like this one.
You look ridiculous with that cobweb in your hair.
It's still in
Let
there?
me get that out.
Thank you. Did you eat it?
It went in my mouth.
You just tasted history. That's probably been down here for hundreds of years.
Yeah, I know. You could have told me that you had so much in your hair. I thought it was just a cobweb.
I can't see the
There was a
top
whole pile of rubble
I
in
can't
your
see
head.
the top of my head. I don't know.
No one could see the top of your head except God.
Okay.
Shelton's brothers would have found him in Baltimore, beaten him, and drugged him with alcohol, knowing it would have made him deathly ill.
This meek, well-dressed man who wears cloaks. If you wanted him dead, you didn't have to get it. He was like a weird little spindly man with a head the size of a pumpkin. You've seen him. Or maybe I'm just thinking of the Funko Pops.
Would you not want him?
Would I not want what?
Poe, as a brother-in-law.
No, I wouldn't. He's a
you beat him
weird
to
dour
death?
man. I would not beat him to death.
I can't even imagine you throwing a punch.
No,
Like,
me neither. If I'm ever gonna throw a punch.
I could only imagine you like backhanding somebody.
No.
like
It would
like a lord.
It would be mid-conversation, and I'd maybe set it up a little bit. Like there's a great line from the OC where Ryan,
Yes.
the main character who's like from the rough and tumble parts of,
Yeah.
he says, you know what I like about rich kids? And the rich kid says, he's like, huh? He goes, nothing. And he walks away. That's what I do, baby. But I might kiss my fist first. I might be like, you know?
So your only fight that you've ever imagined is you sucker punching somebody?
Yeah, oh, I'm a sucker puncher, all right. I'm a coward, baby.
This took a turn.
I would punch and
what
I'd
is
run.
happening?
I'd run real fast.
Oh my God! I got you.
Then I'd get on a train and I'd move to a different city and I'd change my name.
February 22nd, 1946. In the Texas-Arkansas border town appropriately named Texarkana, Jimmy Hollis, 25, and Mary Jean Larry, 19, went on a date to the movies and began driving back to Mary Jean's home. On the way, they stopped their car on a quiet, unpaved road about 100 yards away from some houses in a residential neighborhood.
That's what I like.
There
to
you go.
hear. Yeah, you know what they're doing.
How many?
Here we go. Wait, hang on.
So wait, in this
Is this
scenario,
still funny?
In this scenario,
it's
where
2019. When did this bit start? Like God, this had to be like caveman times.
you think like a Neanderthal looked at his other Neanderthal pals and went,
Yeah, probably. It's one of the world's greatest bits. I feel like people don't do it enough nowadays because we take it for granted. Spread that around this year. You know, if you see your two friends and you think maybe they've been smooching behind your back, be like, I know what you guys are up to a little.
I actually don't think your angle's catching, and I think we can still see your face a little bit, so you might have to turn.
Is this?
That. If I turn.
It's like we're both making out.
On September 23rd, 1935, the second victim, a 28-year-old man named Edward Andrassi, was found near Kingsbury Run at the base of Jackass Hill.
That's actually what that's named. I know that was going to elicit some kind of giggle.
Sucks.
So just get it.
Sucks.
Just get it out of the way.
Sucks to die like that.
At the base of Jackass Hill.
Yeah, where'd they find him? Oh, a base of Jackass Hill. That's not fun.
I'm sure they omitted that out of the eulogy.
Why even call, I guess maybe there were burros there at some point, or a donkey.
The asylum served as a nursing home. There are over 1,700 documented deaths within these walls, and the current owner, Sharon Coyle, suspects that there could be 3 times as many deaths because documentation by previous owners was spotty. Horrifically, a good portion of these people were buried in graves that still have yet to be located. According to Rolling Hills Asylum's website, quote, an actual cemetery register or plot map has yet to be discovered.
Is that bad?
Yeah, that's bad. You just put like right, Shane was here. You wouldn't want that? You know, a lot of cultures feel like there's a lot of life after death.
What, so if you die and someone doesn't put a little headstone on your grave, God comes down to earth, he's like, well, I was gonna take an angel up there, but I don't know where that...
No, that's not what I'm saying, you jackass. What
why.
I'm saying is, I don't know why God sounds like that, by the way.
It sounds like Hank Hill.
Yeah. I'm saying that a lot of cultures, life is after death because then your family members come visit you and do, practices that keep you alive. Haven't you seen Coco?
Let's meet the escape crew. First up, we have the Anglin brothers, John William Anglin and his younger brother Clarence Anglin, both in their early 30s at the time of the escape. The brothers were serving time for robbing a bank together.
I wouldn't mind being in a jail cell with my bro.
Yeah, the thing is, like, being in prison, obviously not ideal.
Yeah.
But you got your bro there with
You got
you,
your
and they
bro.
actually were next door to each other.
That's very fun.
That's very fun.
Yeah.
That's a big bonding moment.
I wonder if one of them got the letter like, ooh, where are you going? And I was like,
Like
I'm
it's-
going to Alcatraz. And he was like, me too!
They just jump up and down. Like they got accepted to college together.
Bye.
Oh, boy. Just give me 1 second. Just give me 1 second. I gotta work myself. I gotta work.
What? No,
I gotta work myself. I gotta work myself up to it.
You know, you're not working yourself up to it. Get in there. Get in.
Okay, all right. Jesus Christ.
Walk up the lighthouse. I know this is the beginning of the season, so I don't know if that whole show there was just for, I don't know what that was all about. I don't know why he suddenly had to psych himself up to go in here. Arguably, I think this is one of the least scary places we've ever been, so I don't understand his apprehension. This chair looks fucking stupid in the middle of the room.
I actually think it looks rather nice. I like what you've done with the place. It really sets the room right.
Oh, we disagree, and I'm the guy who's gonna move it.
Hey, don't move the fucking chair. Come on, man. Hey! I tried to stop him. Seriously, that's just rude. You're gonna come into his room, or its room, whatever's in this room. I'm sorry. We're from California. Don't let this be representative of all Californians.
We're the Hollywood elite. I don't think you're strong enough to move it back. Whoever you are. Are you even human? Are you maybe a demon? Whoever's here, move that chair back. That's not the center of the room at all. Move it back. I'll stand right over here. You can throw it right at me if you want. Move that chair. Move it.
He's gonna take your chair, he's gonna take it outside, he's gonna spread his butt cheeks, and he's gonna lay a fat turd right all over the center of it.
I didn't. Sure, yep.
I'm painting a vivid image.
Very vivid. Yep, that's what I'm gonna do. And I'm gonna take photos of it and put it on Instagram.
How about this? If whatever's in here moves this chair back to the center, we won't do anything to the chair, we'll leave it alone. Sound like a fair deal?
Yeah, sounds like a fair deal.
You see that? He said if you move it back, he won't mess with it. Look.
Tough season for the Bukkake.
No, wait a second.
On February 6th, 1911, Mr. Arnold received a postcard that had been sent from New York City that stated, quote, "I am safe," end quote, and appeared to be signed by Dorothy. Mr. Arnold, however, insisted it was a fake and that whoever wrote it merely copied Dorothy's handwriting samples that were published in the papers.
I'd love for this theory to be true.
I would, yeah, agree.
Dorothy, if you're watching this, you're probably 127 years old.
Old lady.
But, you know, good on you. You lived a good life.
The good boys finally got to me.
Jesus Christ.
Dorothy, if you're watching this, comment. Top. We'll vote. We'll get to the top comment.
Wouldn't that be this show's greatest accomplishment? That we pissed off a Vanished so much that they unvanished themselves after they, you know, they got so angry that they came out.
Like if DB Cooper was like, you assholes, listen.
I saw what you said about me getting speared by a pine tree.
DB Cooper breaks silence.
DB Cooper breaks silence to dunk on Ghoul Boys.
Elena Estrada, legendary for reportedly ripping her unfaithful partner's heart out and throwing it in his face, was sentenced to serve 7 years at Yuma as well.
That seems like a bit much. I don't know if she tried to feed it to him. She shoved it in his face. Which seems kind of like overkill at that point, because I imagine, I don't know how many seconds you have left to be alive after your heart is being ripped out. Unless you just really just
eat it.
We're gonna go visit her prison cell.
Oh!
As well as Pearl Hart.
Okay. She'll steal your heart.
Let's go to that cell.
Okay.
And that chair actually has a very, very prominent butt print on it.
Does that
That's,
a hole in it?
I read that, it doesn't have a hole in it. It wasn't that spicy of a turd. But I did read on the website that there is butt cheek marks on it, and they said that, like, they're butt cheek marks from a person who sat there a long time.
Are they like, you gotta see this imprint? It's good looking. This guy had an ass.
You gotta see this guy's mud cake.
What are we doing here?
What is going on?
What is happening? This guy's got quite an ass. You gotta see this ghost's ass.
I just think it's weird that they would make it so prominent on the, in the history, it's very specific. This has an ass print on it to prove that someone has sat on this chair, as if I'm not gonna look at a chair and be like, I bet you no one sat on that, I'm gonna need some fucking proof.
That ghost's got a great ass.
A ghost's got a big ass!
Is it big ass or great ass? Did I put?
What are we gonna do with any of this?
I'm gonna give that thing a high five with my butt cheeks. Just a pop!
We can give each other a high five. It's toasty in here. It's warm.
All right.
All right, let's.
Bring it down.
It's fucking stupid.
He also goes on to insult and threaten the police. Quote, "They have been so utterly stupid so as to amuse not only me, but his satanic majesty. But tell them to beware. Let them not try to discover what I am. for it were better that they never were born than for them to incur the wrath of the Axeman, end quote.
It is very Old Testament.
It's like most serial killers just like to stroke themselves, and this is just...
He was writing it.
He's
He was
just...
let's see. The devil, his satanic majesty.
Jesus Christ.
That'll get him. Time to go murder again.
This is where a lot of people sort of draw the line, right?
When you have 3 separate pieces of evidence that have DNA connotations linking you to the murder.
If you're looking at the surface here, boy oh boy.
That's an avalanche of he done it right there.
Yeah.
So, God, maybe we should just show a picture of that dog again. Just show, every time we get sad, show the picture of the dog.
Bring that up.
Bring that bad boy up. It's right there.
Good.
It's a good dog.
Good dog.
The island we're sitting on is a chinampa, a man-made floating garden engineered by the Aztecs centuries ago.
Dope. I'm sure they'd be thrilled with what it's become.
Yeah, you think this is what they had in mind?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh, monkey.
Oh, monkey?
Okay. No, I thought I got bit in the ass cheeks by a spider. There's a lot of spiders here.
They're huge.
Todd opened the successful restaurant, Thelma Todd's Sidewalk Cafe, on the Pacific Coast Highway. Her business partners in the venture were director and producer Roland West, with whom Todd had been having an on-again, off-again affair for the past 3 years, and silent film actress Jewel Carmen, who was also Roland West's wife.
They had a little love triangle.
Oh, saucy.
And then they thought, let's open up a restaurant.
I smell a sitcom.
Regardless of what they were doing, they were free loving.
Business, pleasure. Oh, mix them together. Why not?
I would like to see you never mix those together ever again.
I mean, that's what they were doing.
That's what they could do. That's what you should never do in front of me.
You imagine going to that restaurant and be like, I'd like a cheeseburger. And they'd be like, we'll get that to you in a sec after we finish doing it.
Just wiping sweat off their brow.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, a little extra sauce on this one for you.
However, the Melody McGilly Funeral Home received a call from an anonymous individual who said they would send the money necessary for providing Owen with a proper funeral.
Somebody knows who he is, and my suspicion, what if it's Don? Here, because
Don is a very tough love kind of guy.
I suppose, I mean, there's 2 reasons why he would not give up his killer, right? Love, or maybe he was being entrapped somehow. Like maybe there was some kind of leverage against him.
You think this was a lover's quarrel?
It could have been. Why would he pay for his funeral if he killed him? Or, like, and if it wasn't the killer who's paying for the funeral, why wouldn't that person just step forward and be like, yeah, that's fucking Jerry?
Right. The plot thickens.
It does indeed.
This is a thick-ass plot.
This one's thick.
Plot is thick as hell.
Juicy. This is a juicy peach.
Oh, it's a juicy peach, all right. And I got juice running down my chin. I was at a concert once and some lady was dancing with me and she was like, "Do you want some Molly?" And I was like, "I don't know what that is." And she was like, "It's drugs." And I was like, "Oh no, I'm okay."
I'm surprised you didn't think her name was Molly.
I didn't know
like her
what
saying,
she
"You
was
want some
talking
Molly."
about. Like, get out of me. Like if I went up to someone who was like, "You want some Shane?"
Yeah, it's like it's using a pronoun for "you want a piece of me."
"Oh, you want some Shane?"
Either confessing to the crime, eulogizing a recently deceased D.B. Cooper, or claiming to be his brother. In fact, in November 1972, 2 men, Donald Sylvester Murphy and William John Lewis, were taken into federal custody on charges of extortion for impersonating Cooper and selling his tell-all story to a tabloid.
It seems like a bad idea to make your get-rich-quick scheme to impersonate a criminal.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be like, "Ha, hey, it's me, the Zodiac Killer. I'll tell you a story." What? Oh. I like spiders. I think spiders are good. I think they're a great little insect or arachnid. But fuck everything about that place. I would love to bring Father Thomas to this island.
I don't think Father Thomas would be that down.
I don't think he would. What makes you think that?
Oh, because I don't know if you could exercise spiders away.
Yeah.
With almost no clues, it's time to make like Nancy Drew and Nancy draw up some theories about what may have happened.
Yeah.
Fucking Garrett. This is the dumbest joke of all time, and I enjoy it. I enjoy it quite a bit.
It's not haunted.
How do you know that?
I know it's not haunted.
You don't know that for sure.
It's not haunted.
You say that everywhere we go.
And guess what?
You're like a stupid string puppet that I could just bring along with me, and I'd just pull it when I want to hear some dumb.
It's not haunted. Ryan's an idiot.
Okay, that's all.
We gotta merchandise those things.
No.
Jesse would give performances and allegedly hold seances within the home, but eventually would steer away from spiritualism and leave for Europe to pursue a writing career. Ultimately, like many future owners of the home, Jesse would fall into financial ruin and would actually die while playing the piano in Los Angeles.
Huh?
So he gave his last performance, he was performing at a benefit.
Yeah.
He would get really into his music, and then he did this one note like this, and everyone was like, oh, he's really letting it sizzle. Okay, he's really letting it sizzle. Okay, this is maybe too much sizzle. Wait a second.
He's dead?
Is he dead? And the answer was yes. I don't know how I'd react to that. Like, was everyone just like... They start to look at each other concerned, like, okay.
Another round starts back.
Yeah.
Stand up for this one. Maybe that'll...
Yeah, what does this guy want from us?
I think he pooped himself.
Jesus Christ, man.
Wow, this performance is very avant-garde.
This is embarrassing that I think that's so funny.
It's very disrespectful. But it's human. It's gonna happen to all of us, depending what you hate.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's so disrespectful. It's just...
Sorry. Oh boy. Look, we know it's disrespectful. You don't have to say it in the comments. We're sticking with this one.
Moon River Brewing Company is said to be one of the most haunted institutions in Savannah. One of the bar's owners, Gene Biko, said, quote, "I have seen and experienced things that I don't understand and I can't explain," end quote. Though, the brewing company's other owner and brewmaster, John Pinkerton, has said, quote, "I personally cannot claim any experiences that I call paranormal. What I often point out is that the scariest things on this planet are living people. I don't worry about the spirits of dead people. I worry about living people, and in particular, drunk living people," end quote. Regardless of which owner is right, there is plenty of history in this building that could contribute to a haunting.
So Pinkerton, he thinks this is all baloney.
Yeah, and then the other guy, he's like me. If we opened a bar, I'd be like, I saw bottles moving off the shelf, and that, and
Yeah.
you'd be like, it's all baloney.
Yeah.
So
He's full of shit!
I love that he's scared of just drunk living people too.
Yeah.
He turned it into a commentary on how it sucks to own a bar.
He did, yeah, I did like that it came around to that. I thought he was gonna say, I spend my time worrying about, fraud and serial killers, but no, just his unruly patrons.
You get some of the devil's juice in someone,
You never
things
know.
happen.
Yeah, their darkness comes out.
Yeah. We don't know anything about that. Or maybe we do. Jesus Christ. Is this why you did the mustache? Did you do something last night? What?
Oh, you think this is a disguise?
This is like...
Surely no one will recognize me with my thick, full mustache.
Another suspicious coincidence is the fact that both crimes reportedly occurred while Brigham Young University, where McCoy was a student, was on break.
He was a student?
In this theory, yes.
I was thinking about it in like a cold, hard criminal way. I wasn't thinking like, spring break! That sounds kind of fun.
Do you think that's what he yelled when he jumped out the plane? Spring break! He just falls out to his death.
Spring break!
However, as funds diminished and the need for prison space escalated, the reformatory eventually became overcrowded, sometimes stuffing 4 inmates to a cell, and the facilities fell into disrepair. To make matters worse, the prison was no longer exclusive to minor offenders and eventually became a maximum security prison, taking in hardened and violent criminals.
4 people in a cell, that's a lot.
I mean, you put any normal people in a room that's too small. Like if you're in a dorm in college, if you hate your roommate,
It's tough business.
listening to music too loud when I'm trying to study, cooking a top ramen in the microwave when I'm trying to sleep.
You got some axes to grind?
No. Fuck you, Roland.
Roland? All I'm saying, if there's a town full of people who are all like you, this is what happens.
I feel like if there was
People start dying.
if there was a town of people who all thought like I did back in the day, I don't think anything would get done because they'd hear a lot of the howling in the woods and they'd just be like, oh fuck, and they'd just run
No, they'd
and
start
they'd
killing
all
each other.
eventually die by themselves.
They'd
somewhere
start
in the
killing
woods.
each other. If there were a town full of me in the Puritan times, we'd have landed on the moon in 1790.
I don't think so.
Absolutely.
I think you'd all just sit around and talk bullshit all day. And just sit in the town circle and, you know,
we talk about
stroke each other about mathematical equations and science.
I was gonna say math, but yeah.
There you go.
The Tuesday night mentioned in the letter was March 19th, 1919. It is said that the city was truly alive that night, as people blasted jazz music in their homes, and those who did not have a record player poured into local jazz clubs to stay clear of the Axeman's wrath. It's worth mentioning that nobody was killed on March 19th, 1919.
So he kept his word.
Very
Apparently everyone was jazzing it.
You know what? He was probably just gonna be out of town.
He thought, wouldn't this be funny?
I've got a business trip that weekend.
Let's see how many smokers I can make dance.
Yeah.
Around 8:30 a.m., about an hour and a half later, the phone was still off the hook, and another bellboy, Harold Pike, let himself into the room with the passkey. Using only the light from the hall, the bellboy Pike observed that Owen was in bed, naked, and seemingly drunk. He also noticed that the bedding was darkened around Owen. The phone stand was kicked over, so he fixed it and put the phone back in the receiver.
They went in there and they saw this person on the bed with a dark stains all around them, and were like, chill. Those are your sheets.
He's obviously making himself into a Sunday. Nothing to see here.
Right.
Let's go back down to the front
Don't
desk.
just leave. Stupid.
Mr. Borden, who killed you?
Was it you?
Another interesting area in the bar is the former kitchen, where Bobby Mackey's first caretaker, Carl Lawson, had an exorcism performed on him.
What's so funny about
In the
that?
kitchen?
Yeah, I find that a strange place to get exercise as well.
Was it like an emergency?
Like a house call emergency? Like, you need to come down here quick. He was eating a bagel in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And he just fell down. I don't know what's happening. No, that didn't happen that way. I don't know why they did it there.
The jury convicted me, and they gave me 2 years. But I'll tell you what, I'll never go to jail. I'll appeal and get off. I've been fighting the law since I was 13, and I'm damn near 50. I've been arrested for over 53 felonies, and this is the first one I ever lost, end quote.
Unbelievable. The showboating
The
here.
braggadocio of this man right here is staggering. This is the problem with the man who, I guess, believes in his own myth.
Yeah.
And is especially when that man is capable of cruelty.
He's Icarus, baby.
He is Icarus.
Yeah.
And guess what? This bad boy's about to fly towards the sun.
Soon after he was released, McElroy, bizarrely, was spotted with a rifle and bayonet at the town's local bar, D&G Tavern, where he was allegedly making graphic threats about murdering Bo Bowenkamp.
So he follows it up.
So,
Right then.
so this isn't Icarus flying too close to the sun.
He's flying into the sun.
Yeah, this is Icarus turning 90 degrees, looking at the sun, and playing chicken with it.
Exactly.
Shockingly, aliens is not the most outlandish theory.
Wait, wait, hang on. It didn't even occur. I didn't even hear the words that you were saying when you said brings us to our next theory, because I thought that was as dumb as it was going to get.
I told you, you have no idea where this is going.
And with that, we have our fifth theory, that the lost colony of Roanoke disappeared due to a zombie plague.
What do you
Let me hear me out. I got some stuff here.
read it?
Well, I guess for normal people, these are big steps. For you, these are...
Yeah, you could take your little steps on the inside.
Yeah,
Over
I'll do
here.
that. And you take your
I'll take
giant
my-
steps on the outside.
My big steps over here.
Okay. I know a lot of important people were walking up this staircase. And I gotta tell you, two very unimportant people are now at the top of it. How do you guards feel about that?
Couple of schmoes up here.
Couple of American schmucks.
Yeah,
Yankee
that's right.
schmucks.
We're both dipshits.
I'm one of the stupidest people to ever walk the earth, and I
Yeah.
made it up your staircase.
Yeah.
He's even dumber than me.
That's not. How dare you?
It's a bit. I didn't mean it.
Okay. Yes, I'm dumber than him.
I meant it.
You son of a bitch.
The St. Augustine Lighthouse has existed in some form or another since 1586, before finally succumbing to eroding coastlines and falling into the ocean in 1880.
I'd love to see it. I would love to see it.
Like nobody inside, right?
Yeah, ideally they get everyone out, but if they can't do that and I can still get a front row ticket. Do you ever see videos of demolitions where
I have seen those.
where they fall the wrong way?
Were you,
It's so funny because everyone's like, yay, this building's, huh? Oh, no, not that! Ah!
Though Poe was buried in an unmarked grave 2 days after he died, 26 years later, a statue was erected to honor his gravesite, during which his coffin was dug up so his remains could be exhumed. I use the term honor loosely, as the marker lists his birthday as January 20th, the day after Poe was actually born.
They tried to remedy their mistake from before with the unmarked grave, and then they
Beefed
they
it.
beefed it real hard.
Beefed it. Literally etching it in stone. You don't want to double check that?
I guess not.
Imagine if your headstone said like, Ryan Bergara, loving wife.
I mean, yeah, sure.
You
I
wouldn't
guess.
care?
Yeah, I mean, I'm dead, so.
Yeah, I mean, you know my outlook on things. It's like, whatever. Leave me in the street for the dogs to pick at my bones.
That's another thing too. I've always wondered with graves, like when people leave things at the grave, like flowers or even like food or things that they liked.
Yeah.
If you die, isn't your grave like one of the last places you'd want to go check out?
I mean, that's where your body is. Maybe your spirit
I
was. I mean,
suppose.
Dia de los Muertos. It's like the cemeteries become like a fun.
That is true.
I saw Coco.
It's just I don't want to hang out at a cemetery if I'm coming back to Earth to.
But the
check
cemetery
things
should be a
out.
happy place. Let's make
Maybe.
them happy places.
I'm just saying that most times ghosts haunt the house that they were in or where they died. They don't go
Or
there.
wherever's convenient for the story. Yeah, I know.
I'm gonna rip that mustache off your face.
I'd love to see you try.
In fact, the stage we're sitting on is a place where most of those rock stars had their day.
And now we're up here making
This-
our sweet, sweet ghoul music with our mouths.
Yeah, dressed as the wet bandits from Home Alone. If you actually take your hat off, we look exactly like the two guys from Home Alone. This was unintentional.
I'll do getting electrocuted on the sink.
Oh, at the same time?
Yeah.
In the mad chair, prisoners would be bound so tightly that their circulation was cut off, which sometimes left them permanently injured, and some say led to amputation in some cases. An iron gag was also used, which was secured to an inmate's mouth, ripping the tongue and mouth, while hands were tied behind the back, and there's even one recorded instance in which an inmate died as a result of this iron gag. If I was given a pad of paper and was like, what terrible things could I do to people?
Yeah.
I would not think of a device where my own leverage of my hands makes the fucking thing on my mouth tighten. That's
Yeah, I'm
fucked
just
up.
imagining an insane man. Like someone just going to the head of the prison and registering a very normal complaint, saying like, well, this one prisoner's being very loud.
Okay. Let us put a metal device in his mouth and we'll tear his tongue out.
Or it was, in fact, Jigsaw. This is his origin story. All the prison guards are sitting in a room, they're brainstorming, like, what can we do to make these prisoners fucking obey us? And all of a sudden they hear,
He's in a little chair, right?
and then all of a sudden the door opens and a little tricycle runs in. Rides in.
Oh, he's on a tricycle?
He's a little tricycle rides in.
Gentlemen,
Oh, is that him?
I want to play a game. I got plenty of ideas for your little prison.
Cooper jumped carrying 2 parachutes. However, only one of them was a functioning chute. The other was a training chute that was sewn shut. Furthermore, the chute that was functional was a military chute that was not steerable. He's kind of starting to sound like an idiot.
A little bit.
The whole time he's like, yeah, bourbon soda. Bomb. Here's your note. I'm a cool guy. Sunglasses. Jumps out the plane. Splat.
It's not a splat. I think a pine tree just. He was just like, no.
Kill me.
Little squirrel runs up to him.
This week on Buzzfeed Unsolved, we discussed the highly controversial drowning of Natalie Wood. Get your sunglasses ready because this one is packed full of bright stars. Wow, he had them ready. He didn't even know I was gonna say that.
Had him good to go. I'm always ready, baby.
I'd like to say that this story isn't gonna be chocked full of terrible Christopher Walken impressions, but I can't say that. and I'd
Watch
be lying.
out.
Boys,
2 mice. Wow.
All right, let's get into it.
That's a long time. I know they had the private eyes working on it, but 6 weeks feels like a casual pace.
What are you gonna do? I mean, she was 25 years old. You would
She
think,
could have run away, maybe?
when a 25-year-old goes missing, you're not thinking she must have run away. You're thinking, yeah, she's probably doing stuff because she's 25 years old.
What do you mean by stuff?
I mean, when we started this show, I was 25.
Yeah.
If I went missing for like a week, do you think you'd be alarmed, or would you
I
rejoice?
think so.
That's nice. I didn't think you'd be alarmed. I think you.
You're my friend.
I don't like how you said that. You said it with.
You're my friend.
Why are you yelling at me? You're my friend.
You're my friend.
Oh God.
I would be concerned if you disappeared. And we'd get a pretty baller season out of it. Because it'd just be me being like, I don't know, what do you got? Anybody seen him?
The victim, film director William Desmond Taylor, known by his friends as Bill, born in Carlow, Ireland on April 26, 1872. Directing more than 40 films for what is now known as Paramount, and working with Tinseltown's brightest stars, Taylor was well liked, respected, and seen as a leading filmmaker. Taylor himself even starred in one of the first feature films that would define Hollywood, and would later serve as president of the Motion Picture Directors Association for several years. By all accounts, William Desmond Taylor was a glimmering beacon in the cinema firmament.
40 movies in 1920 equates to 2 weeks of work.
Yeah, because they.
This movie's called Man Drops Potato.
Yeah, and there was like shooting like 10 movies at the same time in the same room. No sound.
He's got 6 cigars in
yeah.
his mouth. He's operating 7 different cameras.
He also acted in one, and that became a Hollywood classic.
Was he a good actor?
He only acted in one, so I'm gonna.
Nope.
He was a big deal back then. All right.
Okay.
Leave WDT alone.
Okay.
Jesus.
Oh, look, I'm not calling into question his talent
Yeah.
or his reputation.
This is coming from the auteur of Dogs Watch Television for the first time.
It's a good video.
Unfortunately, due to deterioration, the actual mining tunnels are no longer safe for entry, but there is one place open for visitors that serves as a massive tombstone to former webs of mining tunnels. This spiritually active area is unfortunately referred to as the Glory Hole.
I thought glory hole used to mean something very innocuous, though.
It was innocuous back then.
Uh-huh.
But this is not, I was about to say, it got that name because penises were No,
It's where the men fucked the earth, hoping to impregnate it with gold.
The Glory Hole is a reported site of great tragedy.
Tell me all about the tragedy, Ryan.
In 1923, this cavern collapsed after one of the stone support pillars was overmined for the valuable ores inside of it.
Wait a minute. They were mining the support beams?
Yeah.
Carl, I don't think you should do that. That's a no, there's gold in here, I know it.
Mind your own business. I'm gonna strike it big on.
On January 23, 1974, between 6 and 6:15 p.m., the 56-year-old Athalia went outside to walk her pet blue jay, Clementine.
That is cool.
She's taking her bird for a walk.
I love that. I had a wonderful little bird, I understand.
We all know you kept your bird in a freezer for 2 years.
The ground was hard, we couldn't bury him yet.
For 2 years.
No, it wasn't 2 years, it was just over the harsh Chicago winter, and when the ground thawed, we buried him in the garden.
We all know you ate that bird. We
You
all know
can't
it.
eat a parrot.
You did. Tell me
I
how you
didn't
did
eat
it.
a parrot. I loved him. I'm done talking about my parrot. I'm not entertaining this bit. Because I love that little bird.
He probably fucks the dolls. Can I say that?
Oh, I thought you would have like some respect for this place, but
Nope. Went in straight with the fucks the dolls.
I'm with Pepe on this.
This is getting way off track.
Sorry, okay. I'm gonna take everything said by a ghost hunter with a grain of salt.
Well, technically now you're a ghost hunter, so think about that.
Oh shit.
So I don't even know if I could trust you.
I'm a ghost hunter, but well,
Oh my God, did your brain just explode?
am I a ghost hunter? I don't want to be a ghost hunter. This is all bullshit. Oh no. Do I have to put that on my business card now?
Yeah, Shane Madej, ghost hunter.
Son of a bitch.
And Robo-Squatch.
And Robo-Squatch.
A third theory comes from Bree Sedway, the wife of Mo Sedway, Bugsy's childhood friend coming up in the mob. According to B, Mo had been sending casino numbers back to Meyer Lansky on the East Coast, including gambling winnings and, crucially, construction costs. Bugsy conducted a meeting in March of 1947 without Mo. There, he reportedly said he was looking to get rid of Mo, saying, quote, "I'll have Mo shot, chop his body up, and feed it to the Flamingo Hotel's kitchen garbage disposal," end quote.
I thought you were gonna say he was gonna feed him to the flamingos, and that would have been cool as hell.
One of the attendees told Mo, who called his wife and asked her to drive from LA to Vegas. The two then drove out into the desert and then walked even further to ensure a private conversation.
Walking into the desert to have a private conversation.
Well, because that's the only way you can ensure.
Oh, hey, I get it.
Also, not gonna lie, if you do have a death threat on your head, maybe not best to walk out to where no one could find you or see you.
Good point.
Let's pre-package ourselves for this murder. Make it real nice and easy. This will be real nice. They can't hear us at all.
Let's have a private conversation. You know what we ought to do? Dig a hole for ourselves.
They'll never find us down here.
6 feet down. I feel that'll be pretty good.
It'll be good. It'll be great.
Florida seems like a gossipy state.
Yeah.
Oh, what else are you gonna do there?
You're trapped by swamp and gators.
Yeah.
You're essentially just left to your own devices. Yeah, why don't you just spread some funny rumors?
Whisper storm, baby.
Maybe rumors that are rumors, like you eating that bird.
If you don't stop this bit, I'm gonna...
You gonna cut my head off with a machete?
I didn't say that.
Peter, is that you? Peter. Peter. We just want to talk to you, Peter. Come on, Peter. Hoist the jib!
Is that a thing?
Who's gonna shout out boat terms?
Hoist the jib!
Starboard!
Port!
I'm gonna go use the head.
On blue skies at night, sailors get in fights. Blue skies in the morning. Oh, what a beautiful morning.
You're keeping secrets from us, Peter.
Come on, Peter! Come on, Peter! We'd love it if you talk to us, Peter!
We're gonna move to the other basement now, Peter. So this room, you'll notice, has iron on all the walls. And that's because people were breaking out, so they had to fortify. This was referred to as death row. They kept some of the worst inmates in here. Maybe they kept pirates in here.
It actually would, easier to get out of the wood walls if you've got a big old hook.
Maybe they like jokes in here.
Oh, you don't like jokes in here, huh?
Well, maybe they do.
Woo! What happened? What happened? What'd you got? You got a tug?
Yeah.
We got a tug. Shit. Oh, we got a tugger here, huh?
All my blood is pumping very fast right now. Yeah. I'll tell you, it's really funny right now, but if that happened to me when I was by myself,
you'd go crazy.
I'd probably jump out that window.
And by the way, if you want a little more one-on-one time with the Bergmeister here, well, he'll be here alone soon enough.
It's a long way to back out. You gonna keep that speed going?
Is the door behind me?
It's close. Did that work out the way you wanted? This is a stupid season.
On November 5th, 1950, Helen Glatke, the wife of the reformatory superintendent, was attempting to grab a jewelry box from a shelf in her closet when she accidentally knocked down a handgun. The handgun hit the floor and discharged, shooting Helen in the chest, resulting in Helen's death a couple days later. Visitors to the living quarters report smelling her prominent rose-scented perfume and catching glimpses of her walking into her pink bathroom. All right, so this is the second floor. It's up here where Helen's living quarters were, as well as her two sons.
Seems like a fun place to grow up if you're a child.
You have a very different definition of fun.
We hear you have a very lovely rose-scented perfume. We'd love to smell it, so if
We'd
you could,
love to smell it.
why don't we close our eyes and smell?
Okay.
You know, heighten our sense of smell and see if we could smell any kind of perfume.
Yeah.
You too.
Yeah, I'm happy to.
You ready?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe back up for me. I could feel your air intake. It's like a gross nasal jet. Nope. It smells like old wood.
Yeah, I was gonna say old wood rotting plaster.
Well, Helen, if you aren't here, or if you are here, we sure can't smell you, which is a weird sentence to say.
We can't smell you, Helen. Or if you're a little busy right now, we can always smell you later. Smell you later.
Oh, you back? We're gonna do an investigation now.
Yeah.
Okay.
This plane looks like it's got a big mouth. Like, oh. There's some plane humor.
It's hot. It's so hot up here. This is where I sleep. Look at my wings, they're so big. Oh.
Anyways, this is actually a secret passageway.
Excuse me?
Well, it doesn't work anymore, so I guess what I'm getting at.
That was a false candle?
Yeah, and it would pull, this thing would open up, and it would go to the upstairs. We'll actually see where it goes to later, but I don't know why that exists.
Yeah, I suppose you'd want it to go to a secret room and not just another floor.
Yeah, that's why it seems kind of just pointless.
If you pull this book out of the shelf, you'll get to the kitchen.
Or you could take the stairs. That's my angle.
The second theory is that given the context of his bizarre letter, some believe the Axeman to be a supernatural figure that could slip through tiny entranceways and become the large man that witnesses describe the killer to be.
No.
It's just a theory.
It's dumb. He shrunk down like a little mouse? Is that what you're saying? He's like Ant-Man? He's like, now I'm big, time to die.
At what
Kay and the Citizen Sleuths posit that Cooper may have been a Boeing employee, explaining the rare materials found on his tie. Quote, the tie went with him into these manufacturing environments for sure. So he was not one of the people running these manufacturing machines. He was either an engineer or a manager in one of the plants. End quote.
I feel like if you got a job at Boeing, just
Why
hang in there.
Why does he
Get a nice 401k, retire. Why you gotta go jumping out of planes?
Because that's not how DB does it, baby. He likes bourbon, he likes adventure, and he likes notes.
And flying through the sky, screaming with a pair of loafers on.
One past resident described waking up to a, quote, grotesque and gaunt, dead-looking individual not only laying next to her, but staring at her, end quote.
Here's the thing, I discount almost 100% of I saw it in the middle of the night things because sleep paralysis, oftentimes most people wake up and see shit.
If I wake up tonight and there's this grotesque looking thing laying next to me and just staring at me with its fucking stupid beady eyes open, I'm gonna shit myself. There's gonna be poo in my sleeping bag. And I'm just gonna carry out the sleeping bag.
You're just gonna
full
roll
of
it
poo.
up, put it in
roll
the
it up,
garbage can.
Put it in the garbage can. My big fucking poo burrito, and that's I'm never coming back. I'll leave all the shit. I'm fucking never coming back.
Nevertheless, Todd was known as a fun-loving party girl, extremely popular in the LA social circuit, carrying on multiple love affairs with men, and often overheard ordering her signature drink, 3 Fingers of Rye.
3 Fingers of Rye, that's a lot.
Holy moly. I drink 3 Fingers of Rye, I'm on the roof.
Fiddling?
Sure.
Just for context,
Yeah.
that's now whiskey.
You know, I like whiskey, but I'm not drinking 3 Fingers of Rye.
I mean, I'm not drinking 3 Fingers of Rye.
I feel like you are.
I'm drinking 10 fingers, baby.
Every time we go out to a bar, Ryan's like, give me a pint glass full of whiskey.
Yeah, that's a hell of a signature drink.
Yeah, you know what? That's good bourbon.
He had been hit repeatedly on the head and his skull was fractured. He'd also been stabbed in the chest several times. His lung was punctured. There was bruising around his neck that could mean he was strangled. Remarkably, Owen was somehow still alive though. One of the detectives to arrive on the scene would ask Owen about anyone else who had been inside the room. Owen responded, quote, nobody, end quote. Although he was hardly capable of talking and not fully conscious. He explained, quote, I fell against the bathtub, end quote.
Hell of a fall.
I know. So in this scenario, he falls against the bathtub, rolls over into the bed, and then starts bouncing up and down so the blood splatter goes onto the ceiling and walls.
Yeah. And probably bouncing on the bed so hard that he hits the ceiling a few times and breaks all his bones.
And fractures his skull.
Yeah.
You know, I bounced my head off the bathtub and I thought I'd go for a little bounce in the bed.
Jesus Christ. And tied himself up somehow?
Lyle also cites a deathbed confession from his now late brother Kenneth. Kenneth reportedly said, quote, there is something you should know, but I cannot tell you, end quote.
And then he died?
And then he died. Talk about a guy who appreciates a cliffhanger.
Yeah, that's great.
I could, you know what? Touche, Kenneth.
On Wood's 18th birthday, she went on a date with actor Robert Wagner, later star of television series Heart to Heart, who was 26 at the time. They married in 1957, but divorced just a few years after. Wood married and divorced another man later in her life, only to marry Robert Wagner once again in 1972. Wood herself had said that she believed her feelings of torment were rooted in a feeling that she did not truly know herself, as people had told her what to do her whole life, including her mother.
Jesus.
Yeah, she seems a lot more tortured than I originally anticipated.
Wagner must, I mean, does that man have a magical penis or something? They got divorced and then she...
You think the only reason someone would go back to someone is because they have a magical penis?
I mean, I feel like divorce is probably a lot of work.
Do you not know how love works?
Maybe I don't.
That makes a lot of sense, actually. What do you think?
I think...
That's it, by the way.
It very well could be him. I know it says there's not a lot of evidence, but that was sort of the sweet spot for serial killers, right?
I think it may have been a series of copycat killers.
Yeah, that sounds likely.
Leading a blackmailing gang in New Orleans that preys on Italians. What a strange thing to
I've never
spearhead.
even heard of a blackmailing
What does a
gang.
blackmailing gang do?
They just get together and they're like, I saw this guy fucking a goat.
Notice what she says, and then notice what his face goes to.
Why, is this a code word?
Some people believe maybe it's like a trigger sequence where his brain's now receiving instructions to be mind controlled.
Al Roker's like the Manchurian candidate and he's gonna kill the president?
Yeah.
Like they say in Catholic school, leave room for the Holy Ghost.
The expression he has on his face when he's frozen is so fucking funny to me every time I watch it, because I don't know what it is. It's like, welp.
You know what, actually? It looks like he just pooped his pants.
In 1641, the Puritan legal code was created and established a hierarchy of crimes. Starting with the worst, the list goes idolatry, witchcraft, blasphemy, murder, poisoning, and bestiality.
These people are, no, they're too... Blasphemy. You can kill a man, but if you're like, God stinks.
Ah, Jesus Christ. Blow his head off.
Yeah. How many people were poisoning each other?
I don't know how many people were fucking donkeys back then.
Everyone's always like, how could they have done all this? How could they have gone so crazy and killed so many innocent people? Well, here's why. Because they're all insane. Go get a toy.
How about like a baby?
Yeah, baby's good.
Or a little...
Baby and a ball.
Baby.
Give that baby a basketball. Make the baby hold the basketball.
Are you PDing this? Holy shit.
This may have contributed to him becoming an active and vocal member of the temperance movement for the months leading up to his demise. If Poe had fallen off the wagon during his 5-day disappearance, that could have explained the disheveled and terminal state when he was found.
Temperance was dumb as hell. Can I say that?
Why is that?
You know, you gotta be, just because you don't like a chili boy here and there, you gotta go tell other people how to live their lives. You know, I don't like heroin.
I don't think it's them
What?
getting on a...
What'd you say?
What are you, wait, what?
I mean, I don't want to.
Why did
when
you
I say
put-
I don't like heroin, that doesn't mean.
Why did you have to
Not
point
for
that
me.
out? How much heroin have you done today?
None. I don't.
Who are you trying to convince here?
I don't enjoy this joke.
The second suspect is Dwayne Weber, who claimed to be D.B. Cooper on his deathbed. His wife, Jo, claims that in the hour of his death, Dwayne pulled her close and said, quote, "I have a secret to tell you. I'm Dan Cooper."
I was trying to take a drink, and I just imagined.
Closer. I have a secret to tell you. I'm the phantom of the sky.
I bet she did not see that one coming.
She's probably going to be like,
did he cheat on me?
Exactly. Did you cheat on me?
I'm a man of myth.
A work acquaintance named Edwin Decker would reveal in an interview that Michelle had a hippie vibe and had told him that she, quote, liked to surf naked, end quote.
This sounds like a Law and Order interview. Like they found the guy at the local grocery store moving boxes around. He's like, yeah, she had a hippie vibe to her. Yeah, I seen her out there by the rocks swimming naked.
Also-
what were you doing out there, sir?
Wait, this guy was a bartender too, so in fact, he's probably the same Law and Order, so he's cleaning glasses at the bar.
Glasses.
Yeah, I've seen her before. She used to come here every Thursday.
Yeah, that rings a bell or two. That shakes a tambourine.
What if the trench coat was like Batman, where it was like a flight-activated suit that allows him to fly around like a flying squirrel?
In my mind, though, I don't imagine him being like, oh, here comes the tree line. I imagine him being like, oh, I can't see through the clouds. Oh, now I can. It's just like the Wile E. Coyote.
Plume of smoke.
Yeah.
Deer also reportedly obtained medical records of Jason's, illegally some might add, by dressing up and impersonating a doctor at Cedars-Sinai Hospital for 2 weeks, where Jason had been a patient.
I don't like
I mean,
this guy.
he tricked people in a hospital for 2 weeks.
People were murdered. And this guy's playing dress up?
I know, but I'm just saying.
Like, whoa, what if I do this? Whoa.
Well, he was doing it because he was
I'll
chasing.
put on a funny wig.
In his mind, he was chasing justice. I mean, apparently the Police Hall of Fame thought so. So.
Is that a real thing?
Yes, it is.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was just him making that up. Him in different costumes being like, yes, we're a real organization.
He cuts
Talk
the
to
video.
The president.
So he's
yes,
talking.
hello, I'm the president. Hey, he looks like that other guy who's just got a mustache. You ever see a vat full of alien sperm? You know, that's what they got in there.
They're milking the aliens?
Oh, they're milking them all right.
No wonder why there's so many aliens at Area 51.
It's a tourist destination.
It's a
Pro tip, if you swing by this place, Earth, stop by Area 51.
stop by that massage parlor, Area 51. I'll tell you.
They've got dolls that piss themselves.
I mean, do you think these dolls look like they have remotely any kind of technological
There,
capability?
there was a Mickey Mouse over there with a little pull string.
Did it work?
I don't know, I didn't touch it.
I feel like you touched it.
Hi, kids. I did touch it. Oh, God.
Additionally, according to FBI archives, McCoy was home with his family for Thanksgiving dinner in Utah the day after the hijacking. Unlike Cooper, McCoy was actually caught after his heist and sentenced to 45 years in prison. McCoy would actually escape from prison in Lewisburg, Pennsylvania, and later die in a gunfight with FBI agents in Virginia Beach, Virginia.
I just love how that story has so many like,
I know.
oh, he's out.
It's like,
he's not
yeah.
out. He's out.
Huh?
Shot to death.
Oh.
That was a roller coaster of emotions right there.
Their behavior was attributed to supernatural causes, according to a doctor's diagnosis. Though, it's worth noting that there was only one doctor in Salem Village, and he could most likely read, but not write.
Oh. That's not good.
No, it's not.
Doctors need to write.
Yeah, I mean, how's he writing prescriptions?
He's not. He's just pointing at things and saying, yup, that's a witch.
About 2 months later, on October 27th, 1919, at the corner of South Scott and Ulloa Street, the suspected Axeman attacked Esther and Mike Pepitone. Esther reportedly awoke around 1 a.m. to her husband screaming and ran to the bedroom. Her husband's head was struck 18 times and died 2 hours later. Esther saw 2 figures in the bedroom, but could not identify them as they fled the scene.
By the way, 2 figures.
Razor Boy.
Oh my God, no.
He's back.
No, we're not calling that.
He's back from boarding school.
That's the hanging tree right there.
The area in general has reports of disembodied voices, cold spots, spirit orbs, and apparitions. That being said,
Take a drink.
There it is. Whoever's playing the Unsolved drinking game, that being said, I'm gonna get you all tanked this episode.
the Axeman was the manifestation of the boogeyman, lurking in the shadows of New Orleans, almost exclusively attacking at night, and is possibly responsible for 12 attacks and 6 killings. In chilling fashion, he only seemed to strike people while they slept in their beds.
I love this right off the bat.
What do you love about it?
Well, I'll tell you what. I love it when serial killers have a fun little thing. I don't approve of serial killers, but I think if you're gonna kill a bunch of people, you might as well have some fun with it.
I feel like you have baseball cards of this guy.
I absolutely do not. They don't make serial killer baseball cards though, do they?
If they did, you'd probably own them.
You would own them.
No, I think
in
you
a
would own them
heartbeat.
too.
You'd
I'd
be
own
like,
them.
I'll trade you a Gacy for a...
I'd trade you a Gacy for a Zodiac.
Yeah.
Like the Old City Jail itself, its spirits are violent and vengeful. On the 3rd floor, construction workers say they saw the apparition of a jailer holding his rifle before vanishing through cell block bars. Ghosts will supposedly whisper in your ear as you pass them by, sometimes even calling out your name. Others have said they felt a sensation of being choked or suddenly losing their breath.
Choo-choo pickle pie.
Choo-choo pickle pie, what the fuck?
I don't know. I just think a funny thing a ghost could whisper. Okay, that's it. I'll believe in ghosts if, on the EVP, we pick up choo-choo pickle pie.